holds a special place in Gujarat's industrial ecosystem with its strong base in engineering goods, ceramics, chemicals, food processing, MSME-led manufacturing, coupled with proximity to major ports and export gateways. Saurashtra is uniquely positioned to emerge as an ideal destination for large-scale manufacturing and export-oriented industrial zones. Multi-sector manufacturing and export zones would attract substantial foreign investments also, which will spur economic activities, ample employment opportunities, leading to improved livelihoods and higher standards of living. Today's seminar on multi-sector manufacturing and export zones is in that sense both timely and strategic. It aims to deliberate on how to integrate manufacturing exports ecosystems that can drive competitiveness, scale and sustainability in regional industrial development. Today, over the next 2 hours, we will have an overview of Saurashtra Economic Region Master Plan. We'll hear from eminent speakers and practitioners. This seminar will also feature a panel discussion on experience sharing for developing large-scale manufacturing export zones. I once again welcome all of you to this seminar and look forward to insightful discussion that will help shape the next generation of manufacturing and export infrastructure in Saurashtra and Gujarat at large. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May I invite Ms. Stuti Charan, Joint CEO GRIT, to formally invite Rajendra sir. Thank you, sir. We welcome you. May I invite Shri A.V. Chapaneri, Deputy Executive Officer of GRIT, to formally welcome our President Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Shri V.P. Vaishnav sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now moving on to our next event, next session will be, I'll invite Shri Rajendra Kumar sir to give an SaER presentation on EMP.
Thank you so much, members of the delegation on the dais, CEO GRIT Aparna ma'am, my colleague Ardra Agarwal, Saurashtra Chamber of Commerce President Vaishnav ji, eminent industrialists present in the hall, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start my presentation on Saurashtra Economic Master Plan. Can we start? Okay. So, Government of Gujarat, under the leadership of MAM and GRIT, have divided entire Gujarat into multiple special economic zone. For each zone, economic master plan is being devised. The idea is that by 2047, if the country needs to reach the developed stage, what is the roadmap, what is the approach, what is the methodology, how do we reach there, what would be the role of government, public infrastructure, what should be the role of industry partners, people and everybody around. We all say that we need to develop by 2047. Can anybody tell me the benchmark? What would decide and define that we are developed? Yes, please. GDP per capita. GDP is indeed important, but GDP per capita. As on today, if our GDP per capita is $18,000, that would define that we are developed. So to reach that stage, we need to do a lot of homework. So this is our beginning in that homework. So the context is that we need to be a developed country and a developed state by 2047. That's the context. Now how we should be guided by that? So first is earning well and living well. And earning well, we need to increase per capita income. So advancing the economy while enhancing prosperity for each citizen. Living well, that we should ensure basic amenities, and that's what we've just tested today morning. We need to upgrade our infrastructure in multifold. That would be the key, imperative for living well. And in terms of, Gujarat at 2047, how do we envisage it? We envisage it like 3.5 trillion economy, which is almost the size of India's economy as of now, or at least a year back. That is where how we envisage Gujarat in 2047. So, economic master plan, to achieve this Viksit Gujarat, what are the parameters? So, government of Gujarat is committed in transforming the state into a US dollar 3.5 trillion economy. So, Viksit Gujarat, the imperatives are, in Viksit Gujarat, growth will have to be all pervasive for everyone, because the last imperative is per capita income. So if per capita income has to increase, it means that all those people who are today probably into primary activities have to move towards secondary or tertiary activities. So we have to increase share of services substantially. The model adopted is primarily comes from Niti Ayog's growth hub model, and the mandate is to cover all districts, take up concurrently, complete, this master plan we had to complete by September 25, which was done. Each region has its own character and challenges, so that were taken into consideration. Therefore, a regional master planning is undertaken. So I'll try to use mixed language. આની અંદર આપણે કચ્છ પછી સૌરાષ્ટ્ર આ જે રીજન છે, આ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર રીજનની અંદર મોટા ભાગે આજે ઓવરઓલ માસ્ટર પ્લાનિંગ છે એની કચ્છ એક રીજન છે, નોર્થ ગુજરાત એક રીજન છે, સેન્ટ્રલ ગુજરાત, સાઉથ ગુજરાત અને કોસ્ટલ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર. અને આપણે આજે જે વાત કરશું એ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર ઇકોનોમિક માસ્ટર પ્લાન રીજનની વાત કરશું. સો જે પ્રાઇમરી એપ્રોચ અને મેથોડોલોજી, એની અંદર પ્રાઇમરી ડાટા કલેક્શન, જે આપણે લગભગ બધા જિલ્લાની અંદર જેટલા પ્રાઇમરી ડાટા કલેક્શન છે એ પહેલાં કલેક્ટ કરવામાં આવ્યો કે વોટ ઇઝ ધ સ્ટેટસ, વેર આર વી ઇન ટર્મ્સ ઓફ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર, ઇન ટર્મ્સ ઓફ એમ્પ્લોયમેન્ટ, ઇન ટર્મ્સ ઓફ વેરિયસ ઇકોનોમિક પેરામીટર્સ. પછી એક SWOT એનાલિસિસ, દરેક જિલ્લાની એક પેક્યુલિયર સિચ્યુએશન છે, એની એક પરિસ્થિતિ છે, આ દરેક જિલ્લાના દરેક વિસ્તારના એક SWOT એનાલિસિસ કરવામાં આવ્યું, એની શું સ્ટ્રેન્થ છે, શું વીકનેસ છે, શું ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી અને થ્રેટ છે. પછી સ્ટેક હોલ્ડર કન્સલ્ટેશન કરવામાં આવી, એની અંદર જે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી છે, જે ઇકોનોમિક પાર્ટનર્સ છે, જે કલેક્ટર્સ છે, જે સરકારના વિવિધ વિભાગો છે, તમામ સાથે એક વિશદ ચર્ચા કરવામાં આવી. પછી અમુક વિસ્તારોમાં અમુક વસ્તુઓમાં કેસ સ્ટડી મેથડ પણ એપ્લોય કરવામાં આવ્યું, અને સ્ટેક હોલ્ડર વર્કશોપ્સ કરવામાં આવી, જે ગ્રીડ દ્વારા આ તમામ પ્રક્રિયા કરવામાં આવી છે. પછી પ્રોજેક્ટ આઈડેન્ટિફિકેશન એની અંદર આપણે કરીએ છીએ કે દરેક વિસ્તાર માટે, દરેક જિલ્લા માટે કયા પ્રોજેક્ટ બેસિસ અપ્રોચ, પ્રોજેક્ટ લેડ અપ્રોચ જે આપણે કરીએ, સો એ શું હોવી જોઈએ, અને દેન ફાઇનલી સ્ટેરિંગ ધીઝ મીટિંગ્સ. સો structure of EMP, economic master plan. So if we look at that, regional growth and target strategy is our major planning, which would include mega projects. So એની અંદર દરેક રિજન માટે અમુક લાર્જ મેગા પ્રોજેક્ટ આપણે આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કર્યા છે, બટ હાઉ ધીઝ મેગા પ્રોજેક્ટ વુડ ઇન્ટરલિંક એ બિલ્ડિંગ બ્લોક રહેશે આ રિજન માટે. એની અંદર પછી પ્રાયોરિટી સેક્ટર્સ આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરવામાં આવ્યા છે, હાઈ ગ્રોથ, એમ્પ્લોયમેન્ટ ઇન્ટેન્સિવ, એક્સપોર્ટ ઓરિએન્ટેડ industries and alignment with Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is how this approach for Saurashtra region is. On the other side, responsive to emerging opportunities, we have to be mindful how the world is moving and how the technology is moving, and how we should improve on transport, logistics, industrial, social and skill infrastructure, and also how we should upgrade our cities. Urban infrastructure is to be created. So this all is the overview under which growth and hub corridors are being planned, intensive investable projects are being identified, અને એની અંદર પછી આ બધું એસ્ટિમેટ કરવામાં આવ્યા છે. Now strategy for Saurashtra region is ki where we are. First thing is to identify where we are, then where we want to be. So for the state, for the country, the target is clear. We try to identify this and classify this further for the region, that where the region should be, what will drive the future growth, and what will we achieve in this process. So this is the regional profile. આ જે વાત છે આ સુરેન્દ્રનગર, મોરબી, જામનગર, રાજકોટ અને બોટાદ આ જિલ્લાઓની વાત છે. આ જિલ્લાની અંદર સેન્સસ 11 મુજબ લગભગ 1 કરોડની વસ્તી છે અને ગુજરાતની 7 કરોડ. સો 1/7 ઓલમોસ્ટ એની વસ્તી છે. એરિયા લગભગ 43,000 સ્ક્વેર કિલોમીટર છે અને એ વિસ્તારની જીડીપી આજે 4.3 લાખ કરોડ એટલે રાજ્યની જીડીપીના 20% જેટલી આ વિસ્તારની જીડીપી છે. ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ આપણે એમાં આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરીએ તો આ વિસ્તારમાં ડિફેન્સ, શિપ બિલ્ડિંગ, એક્સપોર્ટ ઓરિએન્ટેડ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ, ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ અને સર્ક્યુલર ઇકોનોમી આ તમામ પ્રકાર એની એક્ઝિસ્ટિંગ સ્ટ્રેન્થ છે. weakness is last mile connectivity is an issue and infrastructure bottleneck is a serious issue which probably every one of us is aware and feel it this way or that way. So endowments and trends in this region. So we have a strength in this region. Handicraft and textile is the strength of this region. We know that almost every place has its own peculiarity. જેતપુર હોય ની બાંધણી, જામનગરની બાંધણી, પછી ટાંગલિયા ફેબ્રિક સુરેન્દ્રનગરના હોય, પટોળા લગભગ બધી જગ્યાએ આ વિસ્તારમાં બને છે. સો આ બધા peculiar handicrafts છે. most of them is GI tagged also. So એ આ વિસ્તારના જે હેન્ડીક્રાફ્ટ છે, ટેક્સટાઇલ છે, પછી રિફાઇન્ડ પેટ્રોલિયમ ઇન જામનગર, એન્જિનિયરિંગ, precision engineering, in fact, if I may say, कि Rajkot particularly has a core strength on precision engineering. Ceramics, Morbi ceramics is second largest hub in the world for ceramics. આ તમામ અમારા સ્ટ્રેન્થ એરિયાઝ છે. This has been identified as the clusters for this. અને 99,000 plus MSME units આ વિસ્તારમાં છે. Now the challenge is how do we grow these MSME units? There are two ways of growth trajectory. One is that they would become pygmies in times to come. Second is that they take the giant leap and become large scale industries. So this giant leap is required. So it is not only government alone which would propel the growth. Government would provide probably the infrastructure, the wherewithal, the policy initiatives, but the giant leap has to be taken by these 99,000. If we are able to create at least 1,000 or 9,000 or 10,000 large industry out of these at global scale, at national scale, that would be the success story for this region. We have 62 industrial estate ITIs, we have 54 cold storages, we have 31 GIDCs in this area, and 26 plus million tourist footfalls. So tourism is also a strength in this area. Economic growth, how do we see it? So from financial year 24, 3.8 lakh to 57 lakh crore is the growth chart which should go, and the growth curve has to go 11% plus to grow at this. So the idea is 11% growth achievable? Yes, it is achievable. The state for 2 decades has grown at 14% plus. Bihar today is growing at around 15%. So it is possible for all of us. But there has to be synergy between private investment, public investment and the policy regime. And that is what the government is committed. That is what this entire plan is about, to propel us from present growth trajectory to a new trajectory. So priority sector selection framework. After this entire analysis, meetings with the stakeholders, the priority sector has been identified. So we have on one side primary sector, then secondary, which is mainly manufacturing, and then tertiary sectors. Out of these, there are some traditional sectors like share in animal husbandry, the growth output. So primary sector is where the most of the work is to be done in terms of skill upgradation. The people who are employed today in primary sector, you have to do their skill upgradation, co-opt them into manufacturing or move them into services. That is where our incomes would be propelled. And we have to move to secondary services and tertiary sector. So these are the trends. So cash crops and horticulture. In terms of primary sector also, we have to do value addition. પછી જે existing આપણી strength છે, ceramics of the Morbi, food processing industry, and engineering goods, એમાં we have to take a giant leap. And then tourism is a cross-cutting sector where lot of skilled manpower can be absorbed and value addition is done. So now, why tourism? Tourism is the after agriculture only sector with highest employment elasticity. Its employment elasticity is around 4 to 5, whereas agriculture is 6 to 8. So that is the kind of quantum which it can absorb. Plus, it has potential of value addition and foreign tourist arrivals. So we have to tap this potential. Then textile, machine equipments, rubber and plastics, and transport and logistics. So these are the sectors identified for this area. Priority sector and subsector having a future growth potential in the region, we have identified that. In terms of non-metallic minerals, which is ceramic, then food products plus engineering goods, tourism, and other priority sector is technical textile, RE components, automobile components, high performance plastics, and industrial rubber, shipbuilding. These are the sectors which are identified. Now, big ticket projects, which we initially identified that there are certain big ticket projects wherein primarily probably the government investment has to come and coupled with private investment. So if we start from Surendranagar, so largest auto parts hub and OEM in that area. Then Botad area, we have identified India's largest eco-industrial park can be there. Then if we move to Morbi, which is Gujarat's largest multi-sector exports hub and manufacturing, plus then Saurashtra defense innovation and manufacturing clusters. There are many people who are now providing certain parts to various kinds of defense industry. That potential is there because defense and space industry is a precision industry, and somehow this region, I know this region, coming back to where I should have started, that out of my 20 years of work, I've worked 6 years in Saurashtra. So I've worked in Surendranagar districts. That was my beginning of the career. I've worked in Rajkot as collector. Morbi, Rajkot, I was the first, rather last collector to preside over collective Morbi and Rajkot, and first collector of independent Rajkot and Morbi. So worked extensively in this sector. I know it like palm of my hand. And that even at that time when I was back here, ma'am, I remember Rajkot industry telling me that there is not even one single auto manufacturer in the world where we are not at least sourcing one part from Rajkot area. So that was the strength. But now today, 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line, these industrialists should have started their own manufacturing at scale. But I think that didn't happen. So there is need for Rajkot industry especially to leapfrog, to take a giant leap, of faith, to go towards from family-owned small business towards probably equity-based large business. So you have to take that giant leap for this sector to grow, for this area to grow, for this region to grow. So mega food park and agro cluster industry, regional aerocity and MICE cluster, these all are the 6-7 major themes which have been identified for this area. Then growth hub and growth corridors for this area. So one is Morbi, Rajkot, Jamnagar. These are the areas identified. Then Gondal, Surendranagar, Navlakhi, Botad city center. So these are the corridors which have been identified where primary. So for example, A1, A2, A3, these are the growth nodes. So around growth node, when you upgrade the infrastructure, then entire corridors develop. That is how development has occurred everywhere. So proposed infrastructure projects, there are various big ticket projects, 70 plus investable infrastructure projects have been identified under this economic master plan, which include auto part hub and OEMs in North Gujarat. This is about entire state. Then these projects are into industrial infrastructure, energy, urban, education and health. So total infra investment for the region is around 2.5 lakh crore public sector, which would come from government, and commensurate investment should come from the private sector. So connectivity infrastructure, we all know that logistics and connectivity is the driver of economic growth, and if it is not given, that becomes the bottleneck also. So in this slide, we have identified the rail infrastructure. The total proposed 7 connectivity infrastructure projects are identified, and road infrastructure projects 11 are proposed. So these are the projects which would be prioritized by government, and wherein state government in consultation with Government of India would come up with these projects and investment in these projects, and the master plan methodology has come to a conclusion that these projects would propel the growth and carry the burden of the industry in times to come in this area. So summary of the infrastructure projects, there is 24% would come from public and commensurate, and then 70% would come from private sector. When we say private sector, so these are investable projects. There are methodologies for PPP participation. So economic impact, potential creation for new jobs. So as has been identified in this, the sectors which are identified for this region is manufacturing, trade, hospitality, transport, communication. Manufacturing would create around 35 lakh jobs. Trade, hospitality, transport, communication would create around 11 lakh jobs. Agriculture 2.2, utilities around 93,000, construction 7.6 lakh, financial professional service around 25,000. So we envisage around 57 lakh jobs would be created. So special economic region 2047 is expected to achieve through this entire planning process. We expect that a hub for advanced manufacturing and export oriented industries would come in this area, which would drive circularity across industrial ecosystems of India. Major defense and aerospace manufacturing and export hub. This region has inherited potential for defense and space industry. There is need for the local industry to have trust in itself, take a giant leap now. A premier destination for business tourism and Gujarat's future ready engineering talent powerhouse. We expect that this region would be the region for that. Thank you so much. And my association with this region, as I told in past, has been on the districts primarily. In future, the government has decided that for each economic master plan, there will be one secretary level officer who will not transfer. I may get transfer, my department might change, but I will be keep having this one portfolio with me for coming 15 to 20 years. So that is how the state government has adopted the approach, that those who have worked in that area and are secretaries today in the state, they will keep coordinating for this. So for all these 5 districts, I will be coordinating for coming 15 years this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for an insightful presentation. May I now invite Ms. S. Aparna, CEO GRIT, to address the gathering.
Namaste. It's now good afternoon to all who are present here. Saune namaste. I will speak in a mix of English and Gujarati. There are few who may not know Gujarati, I think, here. You may not know. Anybody who doesn't know Gujarati here? Acha, okay. So, of course, the slides are in English. Pardon? Yes. So, I would like to... Yeah. Has it been loaded? So I would like to thank all of you for being here. આપ સૌ અહીં પધાર્યા તે બદલ ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર છે અમને. And I will make an overall presentation. we have heard રાજેન્દ્ર કુમાર સર એમને જેવું કીધું કે next 15-20 વર્ષ માટે એ આ વિસ્તારના આ region જેને કહીએ આર્થિક વિસ્તાર જે છે એનું he will be responsible for coordinating the implementation of the master plan. એટલે વી આર એન્શ્યોરિંગ કન્ટિન્યુટી ઓવર ધ લોંગ ટર્મ. નહીં તો આપણે જાણીએ છીએ કે અધિકારી બદલાય, કલેક્ટર બદલાય તો કેટલીક વખતે કામગીરીમાં થોડી રૂકાવટ હોઈ શકે. એટલે આપ લોગ સૌ સ્થાયી છો. Investors are permanently located in this region. So we are ensuring that there is at least one officer from the state government. That too, every year he will only become more senior, right? Today he is secretary, tomorrow he will become principal secretary, ACS, etc. He will continue to support this region and coordinate that region. I will speak on the overall approach. उन्होंने आपको एमने आपने डिटेल्स આપ્યા છે કે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર રિજનમાં શું આપણે વિચાર કર્યું છે આર્થિક વિકાસ માટે. હું આપને અટેમ્પ્ટ કરીશ, આઈ વિલ ટ્રાય, પ્રયાસ કરીશ કે એક ઓવરઓલ આપને અપ્રોચ આપું દેટ વિલ પર્ટિક્યુલરલી બી હેલ્પફુલ ફોર ધ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલિસ્ટ એન્ડ ધ ઇન્વેસ્ટર્સ કે વોટ આર અવર થિંકિંગ. નેક્સ્ટ. ઓકે, આઈ હેવ ટુ ડુ ધીસ. Yeah. સો આપણે રિજનલ ઇકોનોમિક પ્લાનિંગ, ઇકોનોમિક માસ્ટર પ્લાન રાજેન્દ્ર કુમાર સાહેબે કીધું આપણે 6 બનાવેલા છે ગુજરાત માટે. એક નીતિ આયોગે બનાવ્યું હતું ઇન 2024 ફોર સુરત ઇકોનોમિક રિજન, એટલે સધર્ન ગુજરાત માટે. એન્ડ નાઉ વી હેવ મેડ ફોર ધ રિમેનિંગ 5 રિજન્સ. રિજન્સનું ઓળખાણ સીએમ કક્ષાએથી મંજૂરી લઈને આપણે કરી છે. આપને વિચાર હશે કે સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં 2 રિજન કેમ છે, બિકોઝ બંનેની અલગ તાસીર છે. તો જે સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં કોસ્ટલ એરિયા છે, સાઉથ સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં, તેને આપણે અલગ એક આર્થિક આયોજન કર્યું છે, અને રાજકોટ, મોરબી, સુરેન્દ્રનગર, જામનગર અને બોટાદ એમનું અલગ આપણે પ્લાનિંગ કરી છે. અને આ પ્લાનિંગ શાના માટે કરીએ છીએ? વી આર ડુઈંગ ઇટ ટુ અચીવ ધ ગોલ્સ ઓફ વિકસિત ગુજરાત. આપ સૌને ખબર હશે, અને અત્યારે સાહેબે પણ કીધું કે 3.5 થી 4 ટ્રિલિયન ઇકોનોમી આપણે આવતા 21 વર્ષ, હવે 21 વર્ષ બાકી છે 47માં, આપણે 21 વર્ષમાં આજે જે આપણે લગભગ 300 બિલિયન છે તેનાથી લગભગ 12 ગણા આપણે 3.5 થી 4 ટ્રિલિયનના ઇકોનોમી બનાવવાનું છે. સો ધ વિઝન ઇઝ કે આ 2047 સુધીમાં દરેક વ્યક્તિ જે ગુજરાતમાં રહેતા હોય, હી શુડ બી એબલ ટુ અર્ન વેલ એન્ડ લિવ વેલ. એટલે માત્ર ઇકોનોમિક ગ્રોથ નથી, પણ ક્વોલિટી ઓફ લાઈફ પણ આપણે સુનિશ્ચિત કરવા માંગીએ છીએ, અને એઝ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી એ આપણી એક ફરજ પણ છે. ગોલ શું છે મેં વાત કરી તે રીતે, સમગ્ર રાજ્યનો લગભગ 3.5 ટ્રિલિયન ડોલરની એક આર્થિક સાઇઝ, એક ઇકોનોમિક સાઇઝ આપણે અચીવ કરવા માંગીએ છીએ. સ્ટ્રેટેજી આપણી કેમ છે? એકદમ સિમ્પલ વાત કરીએ તો બિલ્ડ ધ કોમ્પિટન્સીસ એન્ડ કેપેબિલિટીઝ. કેપેબિલિટીઝ ઓફ ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલ્સ, કેપેબિલિટીઝ ઓફ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી, કેપેબિલિટીઝ ઓફ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન્સ, એ જ રીતે કોમ્પિટન્સી, સ્કિલ્સ હોય, ટેલેન્ટ હોય. વિથઆઉટ દેટ વી કેનોટ મૂવ ફોરવર્ડ. આઈ એન્જોયડ જાડેજા સાહેબ, કલ આપને જો બોલા દેટ વોઝ લાઈક મ્યુઝિક ટુ માય ઇયર્સ. યુ સેડ નોટ ઇમિટેશન બટ ઇનોવેશન, એન્ડ યુ સેડ વી હેવ ટુ ઇન્વેસ્ટ ઇન સ્કિલ્સ. So that is what we are talking about: institutions, individuals, industry, all three. And what is the approach? The approach is that this development, આજે વિકાસ છે એ માત્ર 1-2 જગ્યા સુધી સીમિત ન રહેતા સમગ્ર ગુજરાતના તમામ જિલ્લાઓ, તમામ ક્ષેત્રોમાં એ વિકાસનો લાભ મળવો જોઈએ. એટલે ઇવન આપ જાણો છો કે આપ રાજકોટની વાત કરો તો રાજકોટ શહેરમાં જે વિકાસ છે એ કદાચ બહારના જે તાલુકાઓમાં ન હોય. રાજકોટમાં જે વિકાસ હોય એ કદાચ સુરેન્દ્રનગરમાં ઓછો કે અલગ હોઈ શકે. વી વોન્ટ ટુ એન્શ્યોર દેટ એન્ટાયર ગુજરાત through this regional economic plans is able to grow to the same level. એટલે કોઈ વંચિત ન રહે વિકાસના લાભોથી. હવે એ વાત થઈ અને ઓલરેડી બતાવવામાં આવેલ છે, અને જે રીંગણ કલરમાં વચ્ચે છે એ આપણા સૌરાષ્ટ્ર રિજન છે. 5 જિલ્લાઓ છે. એક વાત આપણે જાણવા જરૂર છે કે જે કંઈક આંકડાઓ આપણે આ રિજન માટે આપતા હોઈએ છીએ તેમાં ઓફકોર્સ તમામ રાજ્યો, તમામ જિલ્લાઓનું યોગદાન હોય છે, પણ કેટલીક વખતે સાઇઝ, એક્સપોર્ટમાં આપણે એક પર્ટિક્યુલર કંપનીના જે કદ છે તેના કારણે પણ આપણને બહુ મોટું દેખાતું હોય આ વિસ્તારનું એક્સપોર્ટ અથવા તો આ વિસ્તારનું આર્થિક બળ. પણ આપણે એને અગર આપણે બાકાત રાખીએ તો ખબર પડશે કે ખરેખર આપણને કેટલા એફર્ટ કરવાનો બાકી છે. બાકી રાજ્યો પણ ક્ષેત્રો પણ આપ જોઈ શકો. હવે આપણે રિજનલ ઇકોનોમિક પ્લાનિંગના સિદ્ધાંત કેમ લાવ્યા છે? ગઈકાલે આપ લોકોએ માનનીય વડાપ્રધાન શ્રીના પણ પ્રવચન સાંભળ્યા છે. યુ હર્ડ હિમ. અને એમને એમ કીધું કે વિકસિત ભારત અગર આપણે સિદ્ધ કરવાના હોય તો દેશના દરેક વિસ્તાર, દરેક ગામ, દરેક જિલ્લામાં આપણે વિકાસ લાવવા જોઈએ. સો આઈ થિંક દેટ વેલકમ અજય. So he has also said, વડાપ્રધાનશ્રીએ પણ કીધેલું છે કે આપણે માત્ર નેશનલ નહીં પરંતુ આપણે દરેક રિજન દરેક જિલ્લા સુધી વિકાસ લાવવાની જરૂર છે. એટલે આપણે રિજનલ, નેશનલ, ગ્લોબલ એ પ્રકારનું આપણે સ્ટ્રેટેજી રાખીએ છીએ. અને તેના માટે આપણે સૌ પ્રથમ ગ્લોબલ ટ્રેન્ડ્સને મેપ કર્યા કે આજે વિશ્વમાં આર્થિક રીતે economic, what are the trends? So you can see that there is a growth of global vulnerabilities, there are tariff issues, there are climate as well as health related, આપણે કોવિડનું જોયું છે, what was the effect of COVID. So there are global threats, there is rise of protectionism, there is a digital transformation. Today AI is taking over every industry and there are aspirational societies which we have seen throughout the world. What are the Gujarat's particular challenges in the face of these global trends? One is we are highly dependent on manufacturing. Gujarat એક એવો રાજ્ય છે, કદાચ દેશમાં એકમાત્ર એવો રાજ્ય છે જેની મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ સેક્ટરનું જે યોગદાન છે in the economy, it is almost 40%. So we are strongly dependent on manufacturing. We do not have that much strength in services as compared to some of the other states. So this is something that we need to address. Second શું છે કે આપણે સર્વિસીસમાં IT હોય કે ફાઇનાન્શિયલ સર્વિસીસમાં we have come up, but there is still scope to do a lot more in increasing the services sector, and now government is also looking at setting up a separate commissionerate of services. It was announced in the budget also, એટલે બજેટમાં પણ કહેવામાં આવેલ છે. ત્રીજી છે mismatch of talent and capital. એટલે આપણી પાસે કેપિટલ તો ઘણું હોય છે પણ ટેલેન્ટ એ કેપિટલનું ઉપયોગના અનુરૂપ છે કે કેમ તે આપણે જોવાની જરૂર છે કે આપણા જે યુવાનો છે, our young girls and boys should be equipped with the skills, education and talent to match the capital that we have in Gujarat. And finally, there is a lot of competition among states now for attracting investment, which earlier used to come very naturally to some places like our state. So ये આપણા ગુજરાત સ્ટેટના ઇશ્યુઝ છે જેને આપણે એડ્રેસ કરવા માંગીએ છીએ. ત્રીજી વાત અમે હું આવું છું રિજનલ જે કોમ્પિટન્સીસ છે. તો મેં વાત કરી છે કે આપણા ત્યાં we have got good natural endowments in the state as well as in this area. કાલે સાહેબ પાણીની વાત કરી હતી વડાપ્રધાનશ્રીએ. સસ્ટેનેબિલિટીમાં આપણે આગળ છીએ. we are quite aware of the climate related issues. આપણે we have an opportunity to leapfrog. આપણે કાલે અગર ગાડી બનાવતા હતા, ટુ વ્હીલર કે ટ્રેક્ટર બનાવતા હતા, વી કેન leapfrog to electrical vehicles. અગર મોરબીમાં આપણે બાથરૂમના ટાઇલ્સ બનાવતા હતા, Morbi should be looking at making industrial ceramics. So in every sector we have the opportunity to leapfrog. સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં ઓછું છે પણ નોર્થ ગુજરાતમાં ફાર્મા છે. તો ફાર્માથી આગળ આપણે બાયોલોજિક્સમાં જવું જોઈએ because we should look how we can leapfrog using our existing competencies, and of course we can come up with big projects. આ બધું કરતા we want to leverage the opportunities which are available in every region, and that is our approach which informs the plan that રાજેન્દ્ર કુમાર સાહેબ had just આપને રજૂ કર્યું હતું. હવે economic strategy and I think this may be of interest to investors and industrialists. I have tried to make it very simple. I have not gone into jargon. આપણે સૌરાષ્ટ્રની વાત કરીએ, પ્રોડક્ટ અને માર્કેટ ડાયવર્સિફિકેશન. આજે એક ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીમાં 10 પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવીએ છીએ તો ટુમોરો વી શુડ બી એબલ ટુ ગો ઇન ટુ ન્યૂ પ્રોડક્ટ સેગમેન્ટ્સ. 25 પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવીએ. આજે આપણે અગર વી આર એક્સપોર્ટિંગ ટુ 20 countries, we should be able to export to 50 countries. Market and product diversification. Second, value capture. આપણે કચ્છની પણ વાત કરીએ તો કચ્છમાં મિનરલ એક્સપોર્ટ થાય છે એઝ ઓર. Why are we not processing it in Kutch? So mineral processing. Every industry should look at value capture. How I can get more of the value chain into this region. Third છે integration into global value chains and global supply chains. આપણે without plugging into the global value chains, આપણે export markets ને capture ન કરી શકીએ. We cannot bring innovation and technology into our ecosystem. જેટલા આપણો exposure થાય અને global value chain નું આપણે ભાગ બનીએ તેટલા એમના standards આપણે લાગુ કરીશું અને આપણી જે ક્વોલિટી છે, આપણા પ્રોડક્ટ ડિફરન્સિએશન છે, that will improve. And last, I feel most important, quality and remunerative jobs. આપણે એમ્પ્લોયમેન્ટ આપીએ છીએ, રોજગારી આપીએ છીએ, પણ આપણે કોઈ વ્યક્તિને 15,000 કે 25,000નો આજે પગાર આપતા હોય અને એ ITI પાસ કે 10મા પાસ હોય, આપણો એફર્ટ એવું હોવું જોઈએ કે આ રિજનમાં કાલે દરેક વ્યક્તિએ લાખ રૂપિયા અર્ન કરી શકે, 75,000 રૂપિયા અર્ન કરી શકે, દરેક પાસે ડિગ્રી હોય અથવા તો હાઈ ક્વોલિટીની સ્કિલિંગ હોય. સો વી હેવ ટુ એન્શ્યોર નોટ જસ્ટ એમ્પ્લોયમેન્ટ બટ ક્વોલિટી એન્ડ રેમ્યુનરેટિવ એમ્પ્લોયમેન્ટ. એ કરવા માટે દેર આર મેની થિંગ્સ ટુ ડૂ. ફર્સ્ટ ઓફકોર્સ ઇઝ R&D વિચ ઇઝ વેરી ક્લોઝ ટુ માય હાર્ટ. રિસર્ચ અને ઇનોવેશન વગર આપણે ટકી રહી શકીએ તે આવતા દિવસોમાં તકલીફ પડશે. We are talking about technology adoption, about higher education, about skilling, about urban infrastructure. All of us had said today also, somebody told me कि कोई અહીં આવીને નોકરી કરવા માંગતા હોય તો they want an urban lifestyle, right? They want malls, they want leisure activities, they want good quality housing, etc. Then we are talking of course about skilling, and in our EMP we have identified skilling academies for every particular industry. We are of course talking about services sector, targeted incentives. We should not spread the incentives બધાને આપીએ એમ. જે દિશામાં આપણે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીને લઈ જવા માંગીએ છીએ એ દિશાને અનુરૂપ આપણી ઇન્સેન્ટિવ સ્ટ્રક્ચર હોવું જોઈએ. આ બધું કરવાથી મૂળ બે જે હેતુ આપણે સિદ્ધ કરવા માંગીએ છીએ, અને કદાચ એવું લાગે કે એ મ્યુચ્યુઅલી એક્સક્લુઝિવ છે પણ છે નહીં, દે આર કોમ્પ્લિમેન્ટરી, એન્ડ ધ ટુ આર global competitiveness and Atmanirbharta. I think this is the point that Honorable Prime Minister also repeated, say, make in India but make for the world. એટલે we have to be globally competitive while being self-reliant. So this is our strategy even for Saurashtra region. અને ફાઇનલી જે વાત થઈ છે આ રિજન માટે આપણે જે બનાવેલું છે EMP, એમાં મુખ્યત્વે 3 ભાગ ઇઝી વાત કરવી હોય તો. એક પ્રાયોરિટી સેક્ટર, અમે આ રિજન માટે લગભગ 5-7 પ્રાયોરિટી સેક્ટર નક્કી કર્યા છે. હી શોડ ઇટ ઇન હિઝ સ્લાઇડ. એમાં ઓબ્વિયસલી ઓટો કોમ્પોનન્ટ્સ, મશીન ટૂલ, સેરામિક્સ, એગ્રો પ્રોસેસિંગ, ટુરિઝમ આવે છે. સેકન્ડ, વી આર ટોકિંગ અબાઉટ મેગા પ્રોજેક્ટ. 7 પ્રોજેક્ટની વાત કરી. એમાં સૌથી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ જે પ્રોજેક્ટ રહેશે, જેના માટે બાદુ સાહેબ અને પિયુષ ગોયલ સાહેબ અહીં આજે આવ્યા છે, એક્સપોર્ટ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ ઝોન. વી વોન્ટ ટુ સેટ અપ ધ લાર્જેસ્ટ India's largest export manufacturing zone at a particular place. અને એમાં પણ આપ કોઇન્સિડન્સ જો, અમે જે પ્લેસ પસંદ કરી છે ટ્રાઈ જંક્શન ઓફ રાજકોટ, જામનગર અને મોરબી, એની વાત ગઈકાલે થઈ, આપ લોકો બધાએ સાંભળ્યા છે. That area was mentioned by even the Honorable PM in his speech, that this is the perfect place. In addition, we want to set up one of the largest ટેકનોલોજી એજ્યુકેશન સેન્ટર્સ ઇન રાજકોટ. જે રીતે વલ્લભ વિદ્યાનગર છે જ્યાં વર્ષે 40,000 સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ આર સ્ટડિંગ ઇન હાયર એજ્યુકેશન. કેમ કે ઇફ વી વોન્ટ ટુ ડુ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ ફોર ધ વર્લ્ડ, we need the talent, we need the educated workforce. So we are saying that should be there. We are talking about MICE, a convention center in Rajkot which is already approved. We are talking about mega food park. So we are talking about 7 large projects which will drive these sectors. And finally we are talking about infrastructure. Infrastructure માં માત્ર રસ્તા નથી, રસ્તા, રેલ, સી ત્રણે આવે છે. ઉપરાંત ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર લાઇક પાર્ક્સ વગેરે આવે છે, લોજિસ્ટિક્સ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર આવે છે, સોશિયલ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર, એજ્યુકેશન, હેલ્થ, ન્યુટ્રિશન, એ ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર આવે, અને ફાઇનલી અર્બન ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચર વિચ ઇન્ક્લુડ્સ ઓફકોર્સ ટ્રાફિક મેનેજમેન્ટ. આ બધાને કરીને અમે એસ્ટિમેશન કર્યા. એમને વાત કરી રાજેન્દ્ર કુમાર સરે કે કેટલા રૂપિયા આપણે નિવેશ કરવા માંગીએ છીએ થ્રુ ગવર્મેન્ટ એન્ડ PPP in infrastructure. How many jobs we want to create, he has mentioned. These are new jobs that we want to create, and what we expect in terms of industrial, manufacturing and services sector investment. So this we have done for every region. I have just talked to you about Saurashtra region. Any implementation ની પણ અમે આગળ વધીએ છીએ. એમાં 3 વસ્તુ અહીં કહું અને બીજામાં 4. ઓવરસાઇટ, CS કક્ષાએ એક કમિટી છે જે 3 મહિના ચેક કરે છે કે શું કામ થયું છે દરેક રિજનમાં. હું એમાં કોચેર છું. ફંડિંગ, રાજ્ય સરકારે ગયા બજેટમાં જ વિકસિત ગુજરાત ફંડ ઊભો કર્યો છે. પહેલા તબક્કામાં 5,000 કરોડ આપ્યા છે ને આવતા દે વિલ ગીવ મોર ફંડ્સ ઇન ટુ ઇટ. અત્યારે જેટલા પ્રોજેક્ટ છે એના DPR કરવા માટે, ફિઝિબિલિટી રિપોર્ટ કરવા માટે વી આર ગોઈંગ ટુ યુઝ દેટ ફંડ. થર્ડ, કોઓર્ડિનેશન, જેના માટે સાહેબ અહીં ઉપસ્થિત છે કે દરેક રિજન માટે એક EMP કોઓર્ડિનેટર આપ્યું છે. કેમ કે this is going to be done by many departments, right? ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝ આવશે, પોર્ટ આવશે, EPD આવશે, હેલ્થ આવશે, અર્બન આવશે. There will be so many departments. So we need somebody to coordinate at the regional level. ઇમ્પ્લિમેન્ટેશનમાં પ્રોજેક્ટ ઇમ્પ્લિમેન્ટેશન બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ભાગ છે. આપણે વાત કરી કે દરેક રિજનમાં દેર આર 30, 40, 50 પ્રોજેક્ટ્સ. એ પ્રોજેક્ટ્સની ઓનરશિપ જે તે વિભાગને અમે ઓલરેડી સોંપી દીધું કે આ બધા તમારા પ્રોજેક્ટ છે, તમારે કરવાના. પ્રાયોરિટી કરવા માટે કીધું છે, કેમ કે રાજ્યમાં 500 પ્રોજેક્ટ એકસાથે તો શરૂ કરવાના નથી. એટલે હાઉ ટુ પ્રાયોરિટાઇઝ બેઝડ ઓન ઇમ્પેક્ટ એન્ડ એફેક્ટ. એની ઇમ્પેક્ટ શું રહેશે અને એમાં કેટલું એફર્ટ જશે, પ્રાયોરિટાઇઝેશન મેટ્રિક્સ બનાવેલું છે. ડિલિવરી માટે આપણે આવતા અઠવાડિયા વી આર સ્ટાર્ટિંગ કેપેબિલિટી બિલ્ડિંગ પ્રોગ્રામ for giving project management skills to our officers who are involved in these project implementation of the government, right? I am outside government, I am a think tank, but within the government department. For example, अगर आपने एम कहिए कि deep sea fishing करवाना जखाऊमा, तो फिशरीज डिपार्टमेंट ना अधिकारियों ने समझ तो होवो चाहिए ना कि what is deep sea fishing. अगर आपने एम कहिए कि આપણે માઇસ કન્વેન્શન સેન્ટર બનાવવાનું, તો ટુરિઝમ કે R&B કે જે કંઈ કરતા હોય એને સમજ હોવી જોઈએ. સો વી આર ડુઈંગ દેટ. એન્ડ ફાઇનલી પાર્ટનરશિપ્સ, જેમાં પહેલો તબક્કો આજ છે. વી આર ટ્રાઇંગ ટુ બિલ્ડ પાર્ટનરશિપ ઇન લોકલ, રિજનલ, નેશનલ એન્ડ ઇન્ટરનેશનલ લેવલ. તો ઓલરેડી અમારી પાસે નોલેજ પાર્ટનર્સ છે. આજે PwCના પણ સિનિયર પાર્ટનર અહીં ઉપસ્થિત છે. વી આર લુકિંગ ફોર ગ્લોબલ પાર્ટનર્સ. જેબેલલીમાંથી સાહેબ અહીં આવ્યા છે. લોકલ એન્ડ રિજનલ પાર્ટનર્સમાં આપ સૌ ઇન્વેસ્ટર્સ, ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશનલ હેડ્સ, ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલિસ્ટ છે. વી હેવ ટુ ડુ ઇટ એઝ અ કલેક્ટિવ એફર્ટ. તો આ મેં આપને આઈ ટ્રાય ટુ ગીવ યુ એન ઓવરવ્યૂ કે આપણે ઇન્સ્ટેડ ઓફ જસ્ટ લુકિંગ એટ ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલ કે મારા ગામમાં શું બનવાના અને મારા જિલ્લામાં શું બનવાનું, આપણે રિજનનું વિચારીએ અને રિજન કેવી રીતે રાજ્ય અને રાષ્ટ્રને યોગદાન આપી શકે તે અંગે વિચારીએ છીએ. આઈ થિંક ઇટ ઇઝ વેલ નોન that Saurashtra region is at the top of the pyramid when it comes to MSME, at the top of the pyramid when it comes to engineering, to ceramics, refining. Now data centers are coming, auto components. There are a number of industries where we are extremely good. We would like to help you, facilitate you, this region, to go to the global level. That is our, ये हमारू ध्येय છે અથવા તો અમારું ambition છે, જેમાં આપ સૌ સાથે કામ કરવા માટે આજે પ્રથમ આ એક સેમિનાર કરી છે. આવતા દિવસોમાં હજી પણ ઊંડાણપૂર્વક વિચાર, કેમ કે એ સિમ્પલી નહીં થઈ જવાના, એમાં ઘણું બધું આપણને મહેનત કરવા પડે, કરતા રહીશું. સો આઈ વિલ જસ્ટ સ્ટોપ હિયર એન્ડ seek all your support to take forward this regional economic plan in the implementation path. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are deeply honored to have with us Shri Ajay Badhu sir, Additional Secretary, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. May I invite Ms. Adra Agrawal, Secretary GAD Planning, to welcome sir with a memento. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next address, may I invite Shri VP Vaishnav, President, Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to share the industry perspective from the Saurashtra region.
રાજકોટને આંગણે આજે વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત રિજનલ સમિટનો ગઈકાલે આપણા આદરણીય સૌના લોકલાડીલા પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી મોદી સાહેબે ઇનોગ્રેશન કર્યું અને એને સૌરાષ્ટ્રની જે વાત કરી એના ઉપરથી એના જ અનુસંધાને જ્યારે આજે 15 વર્ષ પછીનું સૌરાષ્ટ્ર કેવું હોવું જોઈએ, એના માટે શું આપણે સુવિધા હોવી જોઈએ અને એના માટેની સરકાર જે પ્રયત્ન કરી રહી છે એમાં આપણે કેવી રીતે સહભાગી બની શકીએ, કેવી રીતે આપણે PPPમાં જોઈન્ટ કરી શકીએ અને આવનારા દિવસોમાં સૌરાષ્ટ્ર જેમ આપણે વાત કરીને કે ભાઈ રિજનલથી માંડીને નેશનલથી માંડીને ગ્લોબલને બદલે આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રને જો આ તાકાત મળશે ને તો હું સ્પષ્ટપણે કહું છું કે આવનારા દિવસોમાં ગ્લોબલથી નેશનલ ને પછી રિજનલ આવશે એવું મને સ્પષ્ટ લાગી રહ્યું છે. મિત્રો વાત કરી સરકારની, જ્યારે વાત કરી પણ મેમને વાત કરી રાજેન્દ્ર કુમારજી અને અજય ભાદુજી, તો આપણે આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની તાસીરથી માહિત છે એટલે આપણી ઘણી બધી પ્રોસેસ આપણને હળવી થઈ જશે. મારે બેનને એક નમ્ર સૂચન એ પણ કરવાનું છે કે ચેમ્બર ઓફ કોમર્સ આપને બધાને ખ્યાલ છે કે નોન પોલિટિકલ પ્લેટફોર્મ છે આજે 5 કે 6 ડિસ્ટ્રિક્ટમાં આવી, આજે બોટાદ, સુરેન્દ્રનગર, મોરબી, જામનગર, રાજકોટ, તો અહીંની કોઈ પણ જે વિકાસ ગાથા હોય એમાં કોઈ પણ આજની 5 જણાની કે 6 જણાની કમિટીને બનાવીને આપ સાથે રાખો, જેથી કરીને એની લોકલ તાસીરથી અમને વાકેફ હોય એટલે આપ થોડું ઘણું નાનું મોટું ગાઈડન્સ આપી શકીએ અને સરકારના પણ એક સાથે મળીને એક સહયોગમાં આગળ વધી શકીએ. મિત્રો, આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રના ઉદ્યોગકારોમાં એ તાકાત છે કે ગમે તે વસ્તુ ગમે ત્યારે કરી શકે છે, માત્ર સરકારના સપોર્ટની જરૂર છે. અને એ જ્યારે સરકાર સપોર્ટ આપણે આંગણે દેવા આવી રહી હોય ત્યારે આપણે ગઈકાલે મોદી સાહેબને સાંભળ્યા કે ભાઈ રાજકોટ, મોરબી ને જામનગર આ ટ્રાયેંગલમાં જો તમે જેટલું ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ કરશો ને એટલું ઓછું છે, અને જે મોડું કરશે એની પછતાશે. આ શબ્દો ગઈકાલના મોદી સાહેબના હતા મિત્રો, અને એ ખોટા નથી. આવનારા દિવસોમાં આ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર પાણીવાળો પ્રદેશ છે, અહીંયા ધારી આપણે કરી શકીએ છીએ. એક નાની ખીલીથી માંડીને પ્લેનના જે મોટા પાર્ટ્સ પણ આજે બનાવી શકતું હોય આ રાજકોટ અને આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની ભૂમિ છે મિત્રો. આજે વાત કરતાં આનંદ થાય છે કે જ્યારે મંગળયાનની જ્યારે વાત કરવામાં આવી ત્યારે મોટામાં મોટી રિંગ બનાવવાની વાત હતી મિત્રો. આખા ભારતની અંદર બધાએ ના પાડી હતી, ત્યારે રાજકોટમાંથી આજે એચજે સ્ટીલવાળાએ મોટી રિંગ બનાવી અને એની નોંધ આદરણીય મોદી સાહેબે એડિશન સ્ક્વેરમાં લીધી. આ આપણા માટે સારામાં સારી નિશાની ગણી શકાય. મિત્રો, આ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર પાણીવાળો પ્રદેશ છે અને આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની અંદર સરકારનું જ્યારે બૂસ્ટ આપવા જઈ રહ્યા છે ત્યારે આપણે 15 વર્ષના પ્લાનિંગને જ્યારે એને 3.5 ટ્રિલિયન ઇકોનોમીની વાત કરી તો હું તો તમને એ કહું છું કે 2047 નહીં 2037માં આ ઇકોનોમી પૂરી કરીને આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની તાસીર છે. સૌરાષ્ટ્ર એ ઉદ્યોગ જગત માટે ગુજરાત ગ્રોથ એન્જિન છે, પણ ગુજરાતનું ઉદ્યોગ જગત માટે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર હાર્ટ છે. એટલે આવનારા દિવસોમાં ગઈકાલના જે એમઓયુ ક્યાં મને કહેતા આનંદ થાય છે કે જ્યોતિ સીએનસીના એમડી અત્યારે બેઠા છે, 10,000 કરોડનું એમઓયુ કર્યું. એ ખરેખર આ સૌરાષ્ટ્ર માટે ધન્યવાદ છે અને સારામાં સારી વાત કહી શકાય. મિત્રો, આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની ભૂમિ આજે આપણે વાત કરી, જેમ મુકેશભાઈ અંબાણીએ ગઈકાલે વાત કરી કે મારા બાપુજીનો જન્મ પણ અહીંયા જ થયો હતો. એટલે સૌરાષ્ટ્રની અંદર કોઈ જગ્યાએ થોડી પણ સપોર્ટ મળે તો આપણે પીછેહટ કરવાવાળા નથી. અને નાનામાં નાની વાત કરી, બેન એક બહુ સારી વાત કરી, એચઆરડીમાં આપણે ખરેખર પાછળ છીએ, પણ ઘણી બધું ફેરફાર કરવાની જરૂર છે. આજે એક મોરબી જેવું ડિસ્ટ્રિક્ટ લેવલનો આજે સિરામિક ઉદ્યોગ હોય એ વર્લ્ડ લેવલના ચાઇનાને જો અપાવી શકતો હોય તો આ સૌરાષ્ટ્રની તાકાત છે મિત્રો. એટલે આવનારા દિવસોમાં આપણે સૌ સાથે મળીને આ રોડમેપને ખરા અર્થમાં આપણે આગળ વધારી અને ખાલી ઓન પેપર નહીં રાખતા સૌના સાથ અને સૌના સહકારથી આપણે આમાં આગળ વધીએ અને આવનારા દિવસોમાં સૌરાષ્ટ્રની એક નવી ઓળખ આપી અને વિદેશના સીમાડા ઉપર સૌરાષ્ટ્રનો એક નવો બેન્ચમાર્ક પેદા થાય એવું આપ સૌ પાસેથી આશા અને અપેક્ષા રાખી મારી વાણીને વિરામ આપું છું. ભારત માતા કી જય, વંદે માતરમ, જય જય ગરવી ગુજરાત.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the regional priorities and the strength of Saurashtra Economic Region. Moving forward, may I invite Shri Ajay Bhadu sir, Additional Secretary, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to give a keynote address, sir.
થેન્ક યુ. ગુડ આફ્ટરનૂન. જે રીતે હું જ્યારે આવ્યો હતો ત્યારે અપર્ણા મેડમ જે રીતે આખો ચિતાર આપતા હતા કે કેવી રીતે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર ઇકોનોમિક રિજનનો ઇકોનોમિક માસ્ટર પ્લાન વોટ ડઝ ઇટ કોન્સ્ટિટ્યુટ અને એમાં શું શું આપણે કરવું પડે, કેવી રીતે પ્રોપર પ્લાનિંગ કરવી પડે, અને જે રીતે વૈષ્ણવ સાહેબે કહ્યું કે આપણા સૌરાષ્ટ્રની જે તાકાત છે અને હું પણ બહુ સારી રીતે વાકેફ છું કેમ કે હું રાજકોટમાં કામ કરી ગયો છું. અને ખાલી એક જ દાખલો તમને આપીશ કે જ્યારે હું ગુજરાત મેરીટાઈમ બોર્ડમાં કામ કરતો હતો ત્યારે અમારે એક લિંક બ્રિજ બનાવવાનો થયો અને એકદમ જ્યારે ઉદ્ઘાટનના ટાણે થોડાક દિવસો રહ્યા હતા, થોડાક મહિનાઓ રહ્યા હતા, ત્યારે જે વેન્ડર જે અમારા કોન્ટ્રાક્ટર હતા એ કોન્ટ્રાક્ટર કંઈક ભાગી ગયા અને એમણે હાથ ઊંચા કરી દીધા કે અમે નહીં બનાવી શકીએ. ઓવરનાઇટ વી સ્ટાર્ટેડ સર્ચિંગ કે કોણ એવું ફેબ્રિકેશન કરી શકે છે કે જે મજબૂત લિંક બ્રિજ બનાવી શકે જેથી કરીને ઉદ્ઘાટન પહેલાં આપણે એને કરી શકીએ. અને છેક પોરબંદરમાં અમને આપણી સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાંથી એવા સરસ મેન્યુફેક્ચરર્સ એના ફેબ્રિકેટર મળ્યા એમણે ફેબ્રિકેશન કર્યો અને અમારે છેલ્લી ઘડીએ સુધી જ્યારે અમે ટેસ્ટિંગ એનો કરાવતા હતા, વી કોલ્ડ આઈઆઈટી બોમ્બે, કેમ કે અમને વિશ્વાસ નહોતો બેસતો કે એટલી જલ્દી ફેબ્રિકેશન કર્યા પછી એટલો મજબૂત એ બનાવી શકશે કે નહીં. આઈઆઈટી બોમ્બેના લોકો આવ્યા, એમણે ટેસ્ટિંગ કરીને એમણે કહ્યું કે જ્યારે અમારો જે રીતનો અમારા નોર્મ્સ છે એના કરતાં ઘણો મજબૂત લિંક બ્રિજ આ લોકોએ બનાવ્યો છે અને મચ લોઅર કોસ્ટ. એટલે દેટ ઇઝ ધ સ્ટ્રેન્થ ઓફ એન્જિનિયરિંગ પ્રોવેસ ઇન ધીસ એરિયા. આપણા જ્યારે પણ આપણે સૌરાષ્ટ્રનો ઇકોનોમિક પ્લાન બનાવીએ ત્યારે જે આપણી ટ્રેડિશનલ સ્ટ્રેન્થ છે, રાજકોટની એન્જિનિયરિંગની મેં વાત કરી, મોરબી સેરામિક્સની હમણાં વૈષ્ણવ સાહેબ વાત કરતા હતા, જામનગરમાં જે આપણો એનર્જી એન્ડ કેમિકલ્સનો એક ઇકોસિસ્ટમ છે, આખો ઇકોસિસ્ટમ છે, દેટ ઇઝ ટ્રેડિશનલી પ્રૂવન સ્ટ્રેન્થ આપણી છે. આપણો જે નેક્સ્ટ ફેઝ જે આવવું જોઈએ એ આવવું જોઈએ કે એ આપણી જે ટ્રેડિશનલ સ્ટ્રેન્થ છે એ સ્ટ્રેન્થને કેવી રીતે સ્કેલઅપ કરીએ, કેવી રીતે વેલ્યુ એડિશન કરીએ, કેવી રીતે એને ગ્લોબલ ઇન્ટિગ્રેટ કરીએ. તો ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ આપણે અત્યારે એક્સપોર્ટ માટે અથવા આપણે જ્યારે મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ કરીએ તો આપણે આપણી જાતને એવી સમજી શકીએ છીએ કે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર એઝ એ સપ્લાયર, પણ આપણે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર એઝ એ સપ્લાયરની માનસિકતામાંથી નીકળીને સૌરાષ્ટ્ર એઝ એ સિસ્ટમ એન્ડ સોલ્યુશન પ્રોવાઈડર એ માનસિકતામાં જવું પડે કે આપણે કેવી રીતની એક જમ્પ સ્ટાર્ટ કરીએ કે લીપ ફ્રોગ કરીએ કે સિસ્ટમ એન્ડ સોલ્યુશન પ્રોવાઈડર. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ એન્જિનિયરિંગ એન્ડ ઓટો કોમ્પોનન્ટની વાત કરીએ આપણે, તો એન્જિનિયરિંગ એન્ડ ઓટો કોમ્પોનન્ટમાં બે ટાઈમ આવી ગયો છે કે આપણે પ્રિસિઝન મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગમાં પ્રાકરમસિંહજી અહીંયા બેઠા છે આપણી સામે. ઇટ્સ એક્ઝામ્પલ, ગ્રેટ એક્ઝામ્પલ ઓફ વોટ પ્રિસિઝન એન્જિનિયરિંગ કેન ડુ. ઇવી કોમ્પોનન્ટ્સમાં જઈ શકીએ, ડિફેન્સ એરોસ્પેસમાં જઈ શકીએ. જ્યારે આપણે એક્સપોર્ટ હબ બનાવવાની વાત કરીએ ત્યારે એવી યુનિટ્સને પણ આપણે નર્ચર કરીએ. પછી આપણી પાસે જે કુદરતી આપણની પાસે એસેટ છે, જે પોર્ટ લેડ એન્ડ લોજિસ્ટિક લેડ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ કરી શકાય, એના ઉપર આપણે ધ્યાન આપવું પડે. અને હું માનું છું કે જે આપણે જેફજા સાથે પાર્ટનરશિપ કરીને કરીએ છીએ, દેટ વિલ બી વેરી ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ ઇન્ટરવેન્શન. વેલ્યુ એડિશનની આપણે વાત કરીએ, જગદીશભાઈ અહીંયા છે. ફિશરીઝની અંદર અમે વેલ્યુ એડિશનમાં લગાતાર ટ્રાય કરીએ છીએ. આઈ એમ લુકિંગ આફ્ટર એમ્પેડા ઓલ્સો. અને લગાતાર અમારે એવું હોય છે કે આપણે કેવી રીતે માત્ર આપણી ફિશેસ કે પ્રોન્સ વગેરે નહીં મોકલીએ, પણ વેલ્યુ એડ કરીને એ પ્રોડક્ટને આપણે મોકલીએ, જેથી કરીને સીધો એનો વળતર આપણને વધારે મળે અને આપણે ટાર્ગેટ માર્કેટને આપણે નિશ માર્કેટને ટાર્ગેટ કરી શકીએ. કેમ કે સેમ ફિશ પણ એના જુદા કટ જે છે અલગ અલગ માર્કેટ્સ માટે હોય છે. એ બહુ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ એક આખી બાબત છે જે એ ક્ષેત્રમાંથી જોડાયેલા માણસો એમને ખબર પડતી હોય છે. એગ્રીકલ્ચરમાં આપણે ટ્રેડિશનલી ગ્રાઉન્ડનટ, પીનટ્સ એન્ડ કોટન એક્સેટ્રા અને ઘણા બધા આયુર્વેદિક પ્રોડક્ટ્સ વગેરેમાં પણ આપીએ છીએ. પણ પોઈન્ટ એ જ કે એને કેવી રીતે આપણે વધુ પ્રોસેસિંગ તરફ લઈ જઈએ અને વધુ વેલ્યુ એડિશન તરફ લઈ જઈએ, જેથી કરીને આપણને એનો વળતર વધારે મળે. અને નવા એરિયાઓ જે અત્યારે આવી રહ્યા છે, અગેન આપણી જે કુદરતી નેચરલ સંપદા છે, રિન્યુએબલ એનર્જી, વિન્ડ એનર્જી, સોલર એનર્જી માટે આપણો જે સૌરાષ્ટ્ર રિજન છે એ નેચરલી એડવાન્ટેજિયસ છે. હવે અત્યારે પોર્ટ્સ હોવાના કારણે ગ્રીન હાઇડ્રોજનનો જે કંઈ ઇનિશિયેટિવ ભારત સરકાર લેવા જઈ રહી છે એની અંદર પણ આપણને ખૂબ ફર્સ્ટ ઇનિશિયેટિવ મળે એવું છે. અને ગ્રીન હાઇડ્રોજન જ્યારે આવે ત્યારે ઇલેક્ટ્રોલાઇઝર વગેરેનું મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ અને એનો આખો ઇકોસિસ્ટમ એ પણ આપણે કરી શકીએ. બહુ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ અને બહુ ગેમ ચેન્જિંગ એક ઇનિશિયેટિવ જે અત્યારે આપણે મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ એક્સપોર્ટ હબ જે આપણે બનાવવા માંગીએ છીએ, જેની અંદર આપણે પ્લગ એન્ડ પ્લે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ ક્લસ્ટર્સ વગેરે બનાવશું. એની સાથે સાથે બેટર લોજિસ્ટિક્સની વાત મેડમે કરી, સાથે સાથે ટ્રેડ ફેસિલિટેશનની જે વાત છે એમાં પણ આપણે ખૂબ જરૂર છે કે ઇઝ ઓફ ડુઈંગ બિઝનેસ એન્ડ ટ્રેડ ફેસિલિટેશન અને એક્સેસ ટુ ક્રેડિટ. આપણે એક્સપોર્ટ પ્રમોશન મિશનની અનાઉન્સમેન્ટ ભારત સરકારે હમણાં કરી છે, 25,000 કરોડ રૂપિયા ફોર અ પીરિયડ ઓફ 6 years. એની અંદર એક્સેસ ટુ ક્રેડિટ અને ટ્રેડ ફેસિલિટેશન. હમણાં જ હું મેડમને વાત કરતો હતો કે વી વિલ સપોર્ટ ઇન ઓલ વેઝ પોસિબલ ઇન ધ એક્સપોર્ટ પ્રમોશન મિશન ધ એક્સપોર્ટ ક્લસ્ટર જે આપણે એ બનાવવા માંગીએ છીએ. અને સાથે સાથ બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ વાત જે સ્કિલ અપગ્રેડેશનની વાત છે, બિકોઝ અધરવાઇઝ ઇફ યુ ડોન્ટ હેવ સ્કિલ્સ then you don't have the manufacturing, you don't have the services, you don't have the other economic activities. એટલે એક હોલિસ્ટિક વિઝન સાથે આપણે વધી રહ્યા છીએ અને આ જે રિજન છે એની તાકાતનો આપણે ટોટલી હાર્નેસ કરીને અને હું માનું છું કે વન ઓફ એ કાઇન્ડ પ્રોજેક્ટ આપણે દેશની સામે અને આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય લેવલે આપણે સામે મૂકી શકીશું. And whatever support Ministry of Commerce and Industry can extend, that it will extend. And under different initiatives of ministries, હું અત્યારે એનો વર્ણન નથી કરવા માગતો કેમ કે હું એક્સપોર્ટનો સેમિનાર છે એની અંદર હું આખી ડિટેલમાં હું વાત કરવાનો છું એની બાબતમાં. So we will definitely extend whatever support can be extended. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we will move on to the knowledge session as we are awaiting our Honorable Union Minister Shri Piyush Goyal. So we'll start with the knowledge session and then we'll continue with the panel discussion. So our first speaker on the knowledge session is Shri Ankur A. Shah, Managing Director, Krishna Defence and Allied Industries. I request Dr. Priyanka Kumar, Senior Manager, Projects GIDB, to honor sir with a memento. Mr. Ankur Shah is the MD of a leading manufacturer in the defence and aerospace component segment with a strong focus on precision engineering and export-oriented production. Under his leadership, the company has expanded its capabilities to serve both domestic defence requirements and international markets. Please, sir.
The remote is there also.
Yeah.
Green dabane se aata hai. Pehle load hone wala.
So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. અહીંયા વાત કરવા માટે. My Gujarati is not up to fluency. That is, although I'm a Gujarati, but એટલું fluent નથી. I'll try my best around. My parents have been giving me a stick for not speaking good in Gujarati so far. So by the time the presentation is loading, yes. So the next slide. So just આપણે ચાલુ કરીએ એની પહેલાં just to brief you who we are. I am the managing director for a company called Krishna Defence. We are a public listed company અને આપણે ઇન્ડિયન નેવી ને ઇન્ડિયન આર્મી માટે સ્પેશિયલ સ્ટીલ ને સ્ટીલના પ્રોડક્ટ્સ બનાવીને સપ્લાય કરીએ છીએ જે હલ કન્સ્ટ્રક્શનમાં લાગે છે અને આર્મર્ડ પ્રોફાઇલ લાગે છે આર્મીની ટેન્ક્સ બનાવવા માટે. આપણે લગભગ 250 લોકો છે, 30+ એન્જિનિયર્સ છે અને 10 સ્ટ્રેટેજિક ટાઈઅપ છે વેરિયસ DRDOs અને ફોરેન કોલેબોરેશન્સથી જે આપણે અમુક વસ્તુ ઇન્ડિયામાં મેન્યુફેક્ચર કરીએ છીએ એના માટે. આપના પાસે જે ફેસિલિટીઝ છે વર્ટિકલી ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ છે, રાઇટ સ્ટાર્ટિંગ ફ્રોમ સ્ટીલ મેલ્ટિંગથી પ્રોડક્શન પ્રોસેસ અને અલોઇઝ બનાવવાનું છે. ડાયવર્સિફાઈડ પ્રોડક્ટ પોર્ટફોલિયો જેવી રીતના મેં કીધું, સ્ટાર્ટિંગ ફ્રોમ સપ્લાઇંગ ટુ નેવી માટે અને આર્મી માટે બંને માટે ડાયવર્સિફાઈડ પોર્ટફોલિયો છે આપણા પાસે. અને સ્ટ્રેટેજિક ગ્રોથ ઇન્સેન્ટિવ ઇઝ ધેર બિકોઝ આપણા પાસે જે સર્ટિફિકેશન જોઈએ સપ્લાય કરવા માટે બ્યુરો વેરિટાસનું, ABSનું, DNVનું બધા જે સર્ટિફિકેટ મેન્ડેટરી હોય સપ્લાય કરવા માટે, દેટ વી હેવ ઇન પ્લેસ. And as I mentioned, our joint venture che with a Netherlands company and with a Belgium-based company to manufacture homeland security products and composite products India mate. Now, all the people on the dais have already shared about what the vision is there. હું બહુ નાનો માણસ છું આ બધું વાત કરવા માટે, but I will try to give slightly an industry perspective on what we think about the same. As we know, the defense exports, because હું defense industry માં છું, હું defense માટે વધારે વાત કરીશ. I am not an expert ceramic ને એના માટે, but I'll stick to what I know. We are about 23,000 crores in export, which has grown 12% last year thi. અને we have to continue to growing that is there. એમાં private sector no contributions have been about 64% એમાં. અને આ last decade માં around 34 times growth થયું છે એમાં. અને જેવી રીતના આપણે મિનિસ્ટ્રી ઓફ ડિફેન્સે ટાર્ગેટ કર્યું છે કે વી શુડ રીચ અબાઉટ 50,000 crore annual export by 2029 in defense. I personally feel Gujarat is strategically well suited to do this is you, because you require manufacturing talent. We have a lot of engineering universities already. We have to focus on a few things that I will cover, because we are already doing automobile kari sake to apne defense and space pan surely kari sake. So it's just about having that will to take things forward. Again, we are already tier 1, tier 2 suppliers. We can look to become tier 1, tier 2 suppliers to the big boys like the Raytheon and the BAE systems around the world, which is a fair enough possibility to start before we can actually start making platforms as ma'am has suggested. Opportunity is just not in the final platform, but in the component level at the sub-assembly level too. Now, to come to the parts or components with a platform karamate, we can start with making vehicle and the UAV systems that are there, underwater systems, autonomous vehicles, aircraft parts and sub-assemblies that work around that, and naval components and auxiliary systems that are suited. And we can also become critical suppliers for special castings and machine components for the OEM prime contractors. And for precision parts, as ma'am has always said, because there is always a scope to come to that level that is there. Global defense supply chains are now looking to source from India, and Indian MSMEs I feel have a very good scope, because je ritna amna geopolitical scenario che, I have interacted with country representatives from Australia and lot of parts of Europe. એ લોકો પાસે ટેકનોલોજી છે પણ મેન્યુફેક્ચરિંગ માટે લોકો નથી. આપના પાસે ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી છે, ફેક્ટરી છે, we can get those things in place. So there's a very, very clear opportunity. And as we know, no one is willing to go to China. So this is our opportunity to work on the defense space or the aerospace space, how we can take these things forward. It's in known truth that Rajkot is known for its casting and foundry that is there. These are immediate capabilities that we can counter to. And the CNC machining that we spoke about, since Jyoti CNC is here, there are a lot of vendors CNC in a precision nu kaam aya kari sake che. That is where we can add value to. Yeah, I just covered that. This is something that because we are from the shipbuilding side, ek mane propose karu je vitna France ma tolling che, where Airbus nu factory છે એની આસપાસમાં એના બધા vendors એની આસપાસમાં છે. Like Pipavav is a very close port from here. If you can have a cluster of related manufacturing, હવે ship બનાવવા માટે તમને એનું hull structure લાગે, એના well consumables લાગે, એનું design લાગે, એનું fabrication જે બી product use થવાનું હોય, the pump, the pipe bending, આ બધા simple applications છે, but આ બધી items બહુ bulky હોય છે, તો logistic makes it very, very complicated. તો અગર આપને એક industrial hub એની આસપાસમાં બનાવી શકીએ જ્યાં પોર્ટ નજીક હોય, તો that will reduce the cost of the inventory carrying cost also, અને આપણે more precision ને design back and forth ઓછું વગર આપણે efficiently વધારે કામ કરી શકીએ, જેવી રીતના સાઉથ કોરિયા ને જાપાનમાં હમણાં શિપ બિલ્ડિંગ ગ્રો થયેલું છે. And global outreach is by attending aero shows that is there, aero shows, defense expos that keep happening worldwide. Just my experience around that, international buyers ne અજીન પણ ઇન્ડિયા પર એટલું બધું આમ ભરોસો નથી લાગતો. I'm sorry to say this, madam, but this is the reality that is there. They still think they say of India and China in the same breath around that is there, but we now have a added advantage because of the geopolitical scenario that is there. People are looking at India. We have to ensure timely quality and timely delivery. One of the key things je main foreign vendors માંગે છે એ traceability of components that is there, અને તમારા SOPs તમે જે તમે લખો છો તમે follow કરો છો નથી કરતા. So traceability of components now, traceability of the raw material used to make a particular component with the QR code and all those things are very, very easily available. These are the things that as an industry we should adopt, and we've seen a big change. The moment the foreign vendor sees there is confidence that you're maintaining your processes, તમે traceability રાખી શકો છો. But aerospace component shipbuilding માં તમારે 20 years ના record રાખવા પડે છે, right? You have to maintain a record for 20 years, must have a digital framework around it too. So to participate in exhibitions is very important. Coming back is they want to actually see you. આજના દિવસમાં a lot of people can make a very good website, ne, very beautiful corporate presentation, but actually going and taking the first initiative to go and meet them at an exhibition, taking a prior appointment to meet them, just apne exhibition ma jaine stall par jaine baat kare, that is not good enough. I'm talking from my experience little bit, that is it's important તમને જેને મળવાનું હોય ને તમે પહેલા 15-20 દિવસ પહેલાં તમે મેલ કરીને એનું એક ટાઈમ ને અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ તમે લઈ લો, because that is how the big OEMs want you to respond to them. These things change અને એક બે વિઝિટ તમે એ એક્ઝિબિશનમાં તમે કન્સિસ્ટન્ટલી કરશો, so they will think that you are a genuine prospect that can, and those things can then translate to business forward. That is So with quality upgrades and certification, Saurashtra can become a key node in India's export supply chain for both aerospace and defense. And these are the things, certification and traceability is the things that we have to do. Now, I'm very sorry, I'm not as eloquent as you guys, but I tried my best to whatever my ability was there to showcase from the industry perspective and my experience sharing. That is there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I invite Mr. Yusuf Tambawala, VP Growth and Business Development, JAFSA, onto the stage, sir, please.
Mr. Parna, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak today. First of all, I would like to thank the state of Gujarat, the people of Gujarat, for inviting me. UAE મારી કર્મભૂમિ છે, પણ ઇન્ડિયા જ મારી જન્મભૂમિ છે. હું મુંબઈથી છું ને ગુજરાતી છું, તો ગુજરાતી બોલું છું. Today I'm going to spend a little bit of time on talking about what we've been able to create in Jebel Ali Free Zone. My association with DP World and Jebel Ali Free Zone has been for about 15 years, maybe even a little more, where I have been involved in institution building, and many of the things that I saw today are the things that we should be doing. But I want to start with an example. Please don't get me wrong. I don't mean to give this example because I'm complaining, but this is because I want to make a point to say that you have the potential which is sitting here, and there are people like me who have delivered for other countries. I can definitely help deliver for my own country. And I'll give you an example. I started from SaER Hotel with a plan. My liaison officer told me it takes about an hour. We will reach, although I was here yesterday was much quicker. It took me almost 2 hours to reach here. And he happens to be from the planning department of the Ministry of Gujarat. So I asked him a question. When a master plan is made for the city, vertical city, horizontal city, where do you start the master plan from? And he said, no, we first make the concept and we did the core and do everything else. But that has changed. That was the science of master planning. Today there is a science and an art of master planning. We are living in a world which is evolving and changing very quickly around us. If you step out of an ecosystem, you'll see that it's changing very quickly. So when we do master planning in the Emirates of Dubai, and I'm sharing this because we manage about 150 square kilometers of roads, infrastructure area. We start first with the plan saying that how do I make it convenient? I have a colleague, very young colleague of mine, Tarun, who's sitting here. If Tarun was to come and live in Dubai, how will I make his life convenient so that he will enjoy coming and living in Dubai, and I can squeeze his expertise, use his capacity and his capability to build the Emirates of Dubai. So the government of Dubai, in its own strategy, planned what is called a 20-minute city. All of us abide by that 20 minutes. We all plan and work towards that 20 minutes. A place to live. The citizen is the centerpiece of everything that we do. the economics which we manage and enable for people like you to be there is what we do for the benefit of the citizens and the investors who come in there. So we start first with our national vision or Dubai's vision. We sort of hone that down to say how are we going to make people's lives better while continuing to propel the economy. And that's the driver for individuals like me who work in this ecosystem to ensure that the ecosystem thrives. So why can't we build a road that actually prepares Rajkot for 50 years? Because if all this that we need to deliver today for the city of Rajkot and for the beautiful model that the Prime Minister presented yesterday, which I was very impressed by, of the Tri-City model, then for that, first we have to ensure that the investor reaches his office in 20 minutes. Once he reaches his piece and parcel of land in 20 minutes, he will build and deliver, because that is his instinct. That comes from within him. As government enablers, we are here to support and provide the platform that will enable him to say, I have conviction, I'm going to invest now, I'm going to create something that will be big and beautiful. The second thing that I also want to say is have flexibility. And I'll give you an example of flexibility. I've been working, actually, I have met Mr. Ajay Baddu many times, and I always see him online, because every time I've been at the Ministry of Commerce briefing about Bharat Mart, which is a project I'm working on, I never get to see him. He's always busy with something else. And I think the last visit you had also, I wasn't there in Dubai. I was at one of the conventions in India. When the Prime Minister shared his vision of Viksit Bharat, and we sort of trickled down with the support of the Ministry of Commerce to what is it that we should do to enable them. So am I going to invest and spend time on attracting the big houses to come and invest in Jebel Ali Free Zone or DP World's ecosystems around the world? We said to ourselves, well, that anybody else can do. Let us focus on enabling those who are the have-nots. And thanks to the Ministry of Commerce, those have-nots we identified as the MSMEs. I personally spent some time meeting, along with our consultants, some of the MSMEs of India, across states, across the geographies. And they said, એક વાપીના ભાઈનું એક્ઝામ્પલ આપું છું, ભાઈ હું કુલર મેન્યુફેક્ચર કરું છું, મારી ફેક્ટરીની કેપેસિટી વર્લ્ડ ક્લાસ ફેક્ટરીની કેપેસિટી, કુલર એટલે આપણે ગરમીમાં યુઝ કરીએ કુલર, મારી ફેક્ટરીની કેપેસિટી હું 50% યુટિલાઇઝ કરું છું, બિકોઝ મારો પ્રોડક્ટ હાઈ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડનો છે, એટલે ઇન્ટરનેશનલ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડનો છે. તો મેં એમને પૂછ્યું, તો પ્રોબ્લેમ શું છે? કે હું કીનિયામાં વેચી શકું છું, તંઝાનિયામાં વેચી શકું છું, but I don't know how to reach those markets. For us and the ministry and His Excellency Minister Goyal, this was a spark. This was to say, let us create something that will enable the Indian MSME to actually be able to showcase his product, because I cannot help him identify his markets, right? It's his inherent business. Let us enable him to showcase his product in an international market where cash buyers come in. Then what we did was, so we created the concept of Bharat Mart, which we got approved, inaugurated, and the ceremony of its stone laying and all that was done by the Prime Minister of India, along with the Prime Minister and the ruler of Dubai. The project is currently ongoing, and we will be able to deliver as per our timelines. But there we started looking at and identifying what are the other challenges that we have. And thanks to Mr. Baddu's ministry, we were able to identify issues that we had with exporters from India with the Reserve Bank of India. We worked with the ministry, and the various secretaries of the ministry helped us get the Reserve Bank of India to change the regulations. Guess where it got triggered from? From somewhere else in an outside geography. So what I would tell the policy makers in the country to do is understand the granularity of the problem, but when you make the change that it becomes a milestone, so that हमारा जो investors chair who have so much conviction of investing, creating new businesses in the country are able to create it with confidence कि हूँ travel जारे करीस मारी Audi ने I will not have to race it on the dirt track on the roads of Rajkot. By the way, I just saw that was a scene before me. અમદાવાદની ગાડી હતી and then he raced on the dirt track on રાજકોટના shoulderના ઉપર. He was racing because he also probably is either here or in one of the other rooms. He needed to be there on time. So this is the difference that we need to make. The second thing I would like to say is have flexibility. Never create anything that will not allow flexibility and us to change. The world is evolving very quickly. Now, હું એક ક્લાસિક એક્ઝામ્પલ આપું છું તમારે. ડાયમંડ્સ બિઝનેસ જે ડાયમંડની વેલ્યુ હતી 12-15 years ago, આજે એ ડાયમંડની વેલ્યુ નથી. There is an alternative to diamonds. DMCC જે દુબઈના અંદર જ ઇકોસિસ્ટમ છે, એક જમાનામાં જાવઝાસી એસોસિએટેડ હતો. They created an ecosystem that allowed the diamond business to thrive. But they knew well in advance, based on the trends, that this business may not be able to survive. So they made it a multi-commodity business center. They looked at gold, they looked at other food and agri-commodities which would get traded from there. When you create an ecosystem, ને આપણે જોયેલું છે. Maharashtra અંદર there are MIDCs that have been created for sectors and are lying close today. We have classic examples of this in the country. So let us create ecosystems that will evolve, that will move forward. You don't know what AI and technology is going to do for us today. So if we create clusters that do not offer the flexibility, that will become a bit of a challenge. And I will one last thing I will make is my closing remark. There are 3 types of infrastructures we need to build if you want to create a world-class economic zone like Jebel Ali Free Zone, which today has 12,000 companies, which we are very proud of which 20% of the companies are from India, owned by Indian investors, who have invested billions and billions, who have enabled us to generate, and they almost generate about 21% of the total trade originating from Javza. They have made Javza what it is today. Last year we closed at $195 billion of trade from Jebel Ali Free Zone. So if Jebel Ali Free Zone was a country, we would have ranked a small speck of land in the middle of or in the sidelines of the Emirates of Dubai, in a country called the UAE, which sits in the Arabian Peninsula, would actually be the 45th or the 46th largest country by trade, if it was a country. I'm just trying to show you the scale at which investments are happening, and many of them is apna bhai behno che. They are doing their investments over there and are creating that kind of a scale. This enables them to propel and continuously provide the scale. So what did we do right? We did many things wrong. I will never say that things were not done wrong. But what did we do right? 3 types of infrastructures are very important for an investor to get ignited. First is the physical infrastructure, which is in assets and infrastructure, meaning roads and the connectivity and network. How do you bring people in? How do you take people out? How do you bring vehicles in? How do you bring vehicles out? How do you take goods in and how do you take goods out? These 3 are key. The second is what I call the regulatory infrastructure. We have a platform called Dubai Trade, and the Dubai Trade platform enables people to bring, I can see that the minister is here. until the minister comes in. And the last and the least but not important, most important is the financial infrastructure. How do I allow free capital to flow in and out of an ecosystem? All these three will enable to create and propel all the beautiful things that Madam Aparna and her team has laid out, which will enable you to thrive in this ecosystem. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I request Rohan Shah to, sir, as a token of gratitude, to felicitate Yusuf sir with the memento. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time and sharing a global perspective. Thank you so much, sir. We'll wait for sir. No. With great pride, let us welcome our Honorable Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal sir, onto the stage. I welcome It is indeed a proud moment for all of us to invite Honorable Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal sir, to deliver the presidential address. Shri Piyush Goyal sir is currently serves as the Commerce and Industry Minister of India, making him the longest serving minister in this role. Over his distinguished career, he has previously held several key positions, including Leader of the House in Rajya Sabha and Union Minister for Commerce, Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution, Textiles, Railways, Finance, Corporate Affairs, Coal, Power, New and Renewable Energy and Mines. Among his major achievements, he led India to its highest ever exports of $825 billion in financial year 24-25, signed landmark trade agreements such as the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, the India-UK Free Trade Agreement and the India-UAE FTA, and secured a $100 billion investment commitment with EFTA countries, creating 1 million jobs. He also oversaw the production-linked incentive schemes to boost manufacturing under Make in India, implemented the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, the world's largest food security program benefiting 80 crore people. For his contributions to energy efficiency, he was awarded the prestigious Carnot Prize in 2018 by the University of Pennsylvania. Sir, may we request you to kindly address the gathering. Sir, may I request Ms. S. Aparna, CEO Grid, to kindly felicitate sir. We welcome you, sir. May I request Ms. Adra Agrawal to kindly felicitate our Principal Economic Advisor, Principal Advisor to the Honorable CM, Dr. Adia, sir. Thank you so much. He's been a throughout support to us. Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
हसमुखभाई आडिया जी, अपर्णा जी, अजय बहादुर जी, वैष्णव जी, राजेंद्र कुमार जी, and all the distinguished participants who have gathered here to discuss the regional economic master plan for the Kutch and Saurashtra region. First of all, I must compliment Prime Minister Narendra Modi for having conceptualized. You prefer Hindi or English? So this audience is more English. For having conceptualized these regional conferences, going beyond the state level conference, which also he had started in 2003. I mean, Vibrant Gujarat was a trendsetter. I don't think there's any state in the country where we don't have a similar conference now. But being Narendra Modi, he has to be one step ahead. So he's already visualized, I think today, regional conferences. Knowing Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi ji, I'm sure in 3 or 4 years' time, Gujarat will start doing district level conferences. But that's what distinguishes a leader. Somebody who is a visionary, somebody who thinks into the future, somebody who benchmarks his nation, his state, not with peers, but with the best in the world. And that is what defines Prime Minister Modi. I am sure you've all heard that famous Kennedy statement, did America make great highways or the highways made America great? We've all heard that in our younger days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi understood. And bear in mind, when he became Chief Minister of Gujarat, he did not have any administrative experience. He had not run governments or been minister in government prior to that. In fact, he came in very challenging times. The Kutch earthquake. But look at his clarity of mind. That if I have to make my state of Gujarat a prosperous state, a developed state, infrastructure will be my first focus. And then of course, the Gujarat model of development is today recognized the world over. If I may quote the Onida ad, you remember the Onida ad? Gujarat in a way reflects owner's pride and neighbor's envy. But what he did in Gujarat while he was Chief Minister, the beautiful roads that were constructed, the focus on regional development, taking development to the remotest corners, the way he even converted Kutch into an industrial hub, into a tourism hub. In fact, my own wife went there last year to that road to heaven. And she hasn't stopped talking about it ever since. Now, who could have imagined that we could see industry and tourism in Kutch? The way he focused on utilities. हमने सबने देखा है ना गुजरात में पानी के लिए क्या किल्लत होती थी, कितनी समस्या होती थी. और जब उन्होंने कल्पना की माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कि मैं पाइपलाइन से पानी लेके जाऊंगा, तो लोग मजाक उड़ाते थे. आई एम नॉट जोकिंग. लोग हंसते थे कि क्या प्लान बना रहे हैं. बट ही डिड नॉट वांट कि गुजरात का एक भी व्यक्ति बिना पानी के रहे, जिसको पानी के लिए तकलीफ हो, समस्या हो. एक भी खेडूत नहीं होना चाहिए जिसको पानी की समस्या की वजह से अपना उत्पादन नहीं बने या आत्मनिर्भर नहीं हो सके. बिजली में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, इट्स अ केस स्टडी इन इटसेल्फ. While the country was reeling under power outages, shortages, all discoms, generating companies, transmission companies of the states making huge losses, almost universally in the country. We have an oasis in the desert in Gujarat where collectively all your power generating companies, generation, distribution, transmission, all are in profit. So much so that I was given to understand now they are ready for listing in the stock exchange. Who could have imagined a state government utility ensuring 24 hours power to everybody across the state, every home connected, every farm connected, every industry connected? And you would probably have one of the highest per capita consumptions of electricity in the state. But it was his vision that unless I make sure utilities are available, quality infrastructure is available, good ports for international trade, industrial hubs to promote different industries, whether it's chemicals, whether it's textiles, whether it's the Rajkot engineering hub, the regional development concept and focusing on the USP of each region defines the journey of growth of Gujarat. And when this morning I was given a little overview of the economic master plan of the Saurashtra economic region, I was amazed at the long-term vision that was presented before me. I was truly delighted to see a state planning 30 years in advance, not waiting for demand to come, anticipating demand and making sure the infrastructure is ready today to meet the demands of tomorrow. And this has been Prime Minister Modi's very unique ability, without which India cannot aspire to become a developed nation by 2047. Now look at the Mumbai-Delhi expressway that is coming up. I don't know if any of you has had a chance to drive on that expressway any distance. If you haven't, next time you go to Delhi, just drive down to Gurgaon and go to the expressway for half an hour. छाती 56 इंच की नहीं, उससे भी ज्यादा चौड़ी हो जाएगी. ऐसी सड़क आपको दुनिया में किधर नहीं देखने को. Already an 8-lane expressway with provision to expand to 16 lanes. Can we in India imagine 16-lane expressway? यहाँ की land acquisition problems, दुनिया भर की जो समस्याएं भारत में हमने सबने पहले, हम समस्या ही सुनते थे पहले, आजकल सॉल्यूशंस ही सुनते हैं. हर बाधा को ओवरकम करके he has planned a road that is guaranteed for quality for 50 years by the construction people. जिसको भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिला 50 साल की जिम्मेदारी है, पानी की तरह स्मूथ राइड होना चाहिए. और अब आप कल्पना करिए उनकी होलिस्टिक विजन कैसे चलती है माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की. His focus on renewable energy, which brings down the cost of energy significantly. His focus on promoting electric vehicles as a part of our various efforts to address the challenge of climate change. Electric vehicles is our focus area. And his focus on creating world-class infrastructure. When you come, of course, and he's also looking at faster mobility, connectivity, and tourism. Now, how does one expressway impact all of that? You can drive from Delhi to Mumbai in 12 hours if you stick to the speed limit. वो रोड ऐसी है कि आप स्पीड लिमिट पे चला ही नहीं सकते हो. आपका अंदरूनी जिज्ञासा ऐसी होगी कि स्पीड लिमिट के आगे चले जाओगे. मुझे याद है न्यूजीलैंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 20 साल पहले मैंने गाड़ी लेने का और ड्राइव करने का हिम्मत करी तो महीनों तक उसके बाद स्पीडिंग टिकट्स आते रहे थे. मेरी मदर का एड्रेस था हसमुख भाई, तो जब भी मैं माँ के यहाँ जाता था वो बोलती तुम्हें ऑस्ट्रेलिया की सरकार चिट्ठियाँ क्यों लिख रही है. आप भी संभलना, जब ये एक्सप्रेसवे बन जाएगा आपको भी बहुत चिट्ठियाँ आएंगी स्पीडिंग के लिए. बट इवन इफ यू गो ऑन रेगुलर स्पीड लिमिट in 12 hours you can do Bombay Delhi. Imagine you take an SUV, an electric SUV, a family of 6 or 7, जिसको हिंदी में ना लाइटर नोट पूरा टप्पर लेके हम जैसे निकलते हैं. A family of 6 or 7 can go from Delhi to Mumbai at a cost of 1,000 rupees only. That will be the cost of charging your vehicle, for which there will be adequate fast chargers along the way. आप रास्ते में रुको, जब तक घाटिया जलेबी खाओगे या पाव भाजी या मिसल पाव जब तक आपका सर्व होगा, इडली वड़ा, तब तक आपकी गाड़ी चार्ज हो जाएगी and you can continue on to your destination. और अगर टूरिज्म की इच्छा हो तो रास्ते में 4 वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी भी आएंगी. अगर किसको धार्मिक स्थान जाना हो तो ढेर सारे आपको धार्मिक स्थान भी इस रूट पे मिलेंगे. ऑफ कोर्स इसका व्यापार और उद्योग पे तो प्रभाव बहुत बड़ा होगा ही. एक प्रकार से आप राजकोट में सामान बनाओगे, थोड़ी दूरी पे आप कनेक्ट कर लोगे इनटू द एक्सप्रेसवे, nearest expressway, and you'll reach whichever port you want to go to, whether you want to go to Jamnagar, whether you want to go to JNPT, Mundra, wherever. You'll have a series of opportunities for faster movement of goods, ensuring greater business, greater opportunities. And in a way, this is what Swami Vivekananda had conceptualized 130 years ago. आप याद करिए स्वामी विवेकानंद ने क्या कहा था हमें. इस देश का जो सामर्थ्य है, इस देश में जो कैपेबिलिटीज है, इसको हार्नेस करने की जरूरत है. Awake, arise, and stop not. You remember that famous dialogue of Swami Vivekananda? Until you achieve your goal. और हमारा गोल क्या है कलेक्टिवली आज 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का विकसित भारत. We really want to see an empowered nation. A nation where every child gets high quality education, high quality health care, good home to live in, where his early years, his development is futuristic, modern. We need to see a country of entrepreneurs, a country where innovation thrives, a country which is futuristic in its vision. And all of that, friends, the foundation of this journey rests on high quality infrastructure. And if we are looking at a Viksit Bharat by 2047, we are already the 4th largest economy. In another 2.5 years, 2 years, will be the 3rd largest GDP in the world. We are already the fastest growing large economy. We wish to see this as the fastest growing large economy for at least another 20-25 years. Our $4 trillion GDP today is estimated to be a $30 or $35 trillion GDP by 2047, with a per capita GDP of almost $20,000. And it's very much doable, very much within the realm of possibility. We as a nation have to resolve that we are going to do it. We are committed to doing it. And if Gujarat does not set the trend, if Gujarat does not do the initial groundwork, I don't think any other part of India can do it. And it's incumbent upon Gujarat to lead the way. The western states, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, this region is highly industrialized, highly developed, modern infrastructure. And now with this very ambitious economic master plan, which focuses largely on cluster-based development, industrial parks which will promote maybe engineering industry in Rajkot, chemical industry or petrochemical industry in Jamnagar, a different set of focused plans for every part of Gujarat, taking it further to every part of India, will help this country in its ambitions, in its aspirations. Initially, every work goes through some difficulty. There's skepticism, people are doubtful, some people may ridicule it, some may even oppose it, as we find in different parts of the political spectrum. But friends, if we stay the course, if we accept that we have the capability to do it, no power on earth can stop us from becoming a developed nation by 2047, and a Viksit Gujarat in 2047 is the pathway, is an integral element of Viksit Bharat 2047. I'm truly delighted that Chief Minister Bhupendra Bhai Patel and his team have started visioning in the Amrit Kal right up to 2047 how infrastructure is going to be developed, how we are going to have regional hubs of economic activity, how we are going to focus on innovation and promoting the startup ecosystem so that we become job creators rather than just job seekers. And we actually are privileged in Saurashtra, in this region, that we have Vikas and Virasat both. What we saw yesterday and day before yesterday was truly a marvel. At Somnath, the 1,000-year struggle that we all witnessed and which we were privileged that our Prime Minister has taken to the whole nation is a story of resilience, is a story of rejuvenation, is a story of our spiritual journey. And I am very, very sure, just like Prime Minister Modi says, Desh ko vikas bhi chahiye, virasat bhi chahiye. I have studied the economic history and the development cycles of many parts of the world. No country in the world has prospered if they did not learn from history, if they did not protect their identity, if they did not respect their traditions, their culture, their rich heritage. We in India have a unique opportunity to take our country forward, and I'm sure that Saurashtra and Kutch, which are really at a very strategic location, as Honorable Prime Minister said yesterday, they will anchor India's growth story. And going forward, you have seen so many adversities that it has prepared that resilience in the people of Saurashtra, in the people of Gujarat, that whatever may be the adversity, we will rebuild, we will recreate, but continue to grow, continue to make this a very, very strong region of economic development. Yesterday, Prime Minister launched 13 new smart industrial estates in the 7 districts of this region, and a medical devices park at Rajkot. Friends, this is just the beginning. If you go through the story of the economic master plan, there's lots more to come. And I would like to invite all of you to participate in this journey of growth. The business is in the blood of Gujarat and all Gujaratis. In every sector, we have the capability to excel, and I have no doubt in my mind that we will continue to excel, we'll continue to grow, we'll continue to find newer and newer opportunities, not only in India but across the world. We are expanding our trading relations through free trade agreements with most of the developed countries, which will provide huge opportunities for all of you to expand exports, to take your technologies to the rest of the world, grow both in goods and services, and position Saurashtra as a globally competitive manufacturing hub, create a GDP of nearly $60 billion, you told me, for the whole state. I'm talking of Saurashtra alone. And looking at the ambitious investment plans, growing this $60 billion GDP of Saurashtra to a 447, is it of Saurashtra or Gujarat? 3.5. So Saurashtra alone is expected to be a $600 billion GDP. Not a small amount. You can calculate the opportunities. It's nearly a 12x, 11 or 12x growth from the current GDP of Saurashtra and Kutch region. That is our ambition. That will be our collective goal. And I am confident each one of you will participate in this journey of growth, journey of inclusive growth, journey of sustainable growth, the journey which will lead us to Viksit Saurashtra, Viksit Gujarat, and Viksit Bharat by 2047. My best wishes to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights and gracing our event with your presence. Your words will surely inspire and guide us in moving ahead. Thank you.
Damini.
Scale manufacturing export. May I request Mr. Vikram Goyal, Chief Business Officer, Industries, Mahindra Lifespans, onto the stage. Ms. Tuti Charan, Joint CEO, Grit, onto the stage. Mr. Mohammad Atta, Partner and Leader, IDIP, PwC India, onto the stage. Mr. Vikram Goyal, thank you so much. May I request
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just start the.
May I request everybody to please be seated.
So we'll start the panel discussion. I think the Honorable Minister has set the right tone for a discussion. What I'll do is I'll just set the context. So we are at 1:40 so that we can use the next 20 minutes for this panel and close this so that we are back to other things. Look, when you envisage a vision of $3.5 trillion for a state like Gujarat, a state which is very well known for its manufacturing prowess, a state which is very well known for its export prowess, you have to also start thinking about on the supply side, what exactly will deliver this 3.5 trillion, what exactly will deliver the 10x, 12x growth we are thinking about in the Saurashtra region, and what kind of specific actions one will need to take up. And this is where the vision starts becoming real. This is where the actions start becoming much more clearer in terms of what kind of policy actions, what kind of infrastructure actions, what kind of investment actions we'll need. And this will need a bit of a partnership between private sector. This will need private sector on its own to actively see the opportunity, and this will need government at the policy level, at the vision level, and as well as at the regulatory institutional level to drive actions. So before we get into a bit of granular discussions, maybe I'll ask Stuti ma'am to talk about the economic master plan. What are the 4 or 5 big projects you are thinking, and what is the kind of thinking that is right now happening to make sure those projects come to a reality, ma'am?
Good afternoon. In the morning session, Senior Officer Rajendra Kumar sir and Sapana ma'am has already briefed about making this region, Saurashtra region, as a multi-sector export manufacturing hub. And we all have heard that 3 major cities like Rajkot, Morbi, Jamnagar, this tri-city junction is very, very critical because this region is having ports connectivity, as you know, Kandla, Mundra, Navlakhi, and it is also close to east-west corridor. We also have a lot of existing structures like Morbi's hub to ceramics, Jamnagar for brass and petrochemicals refinery. It is global positioned companies, and in Rajkot it is also leader in automobiles and machinery equipments, various tools. So the objective of in economic master plan was to envision this region as a manufacturing hub. And I would just like to say some of the major components because much has been discussed already, so not to waste further time. This project component is having export zone with plug and play modules. It also focuses on R&D, prototyping and innovation hubs in future. Also focusing on export service zone where dedicated smart logistics, warehousing, trade facilitation centers, certification issues will be focused. And whenever investment comes in any zone, whenever we want to diversify and improvise, there will be need of skilled manpower. So for that, skilling, training and investment facilitation zone is also made in this big ticket project. And when population comes for working, they also need, as Ma'am Aparna has told in the morning, they need good schools for their kids, they need good health facilities, they need recreation, they need housing, they need everything to move, good roads, good connectivity, multimodal access. So this region itself is positioned so well, and I think our vision of making this region as 447 billion economy by 2047 is, it's not a dream, it's a reality that we can all do together. So I request all the investors and participants to come together and go ahead in this journey. And one more point I would like to say, that this big ticket project is having investment of 7.5 thousand crore. It is such a big amount that we can harness all the energies together. And when new companies are coming, new manufacturing units are coming, as we all are aware of Industry 4.0 concept, the green economy, green technology, green output, everything, including the regulations that government is supporting to us. So that all comes in our favor, so we can make this region a global export manufacturing hub. Thank you.
Thank you, for clarifying this. When we have worked around the world, what we have seen that what makes zones very successful is the intersection of hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. When you go to a global zone and pose as an investor, the first thing they will ask is not about how much land you will take or how much power you will take. They'll ask about how will you live here, how will you bring your families, and that's where that soft infrastructure starts coming and becoming very important. And that's what we have seen when we have worked in Jebel Ali or when we have worked in Khalifa zone in Middle East, that the tenant perspective becomes one of the most important perspective as we think about these zones, which will become, as he said, live and work together. Vikram, Mahindras have been in the business of developing industrial clusters, fantastic success in Chennai. You began the journey over there, and then the Jaipur one became bigger. Now you have a portfolio of many such industrial city. What's your view on the tenant perspective of these large zones? As we think about these mega zones, what would become critical as we start planning for these large zones?
Thank you. And thank you everyone for your time here. I will answer your question, but I'll just take 2 minutes. One, I think if somebody hasn't noticed the last 1 hour, I think it was a master class on how to create infrastructure utilities for growth going forward. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Honorable Minister. I think I took a lot of notes. My notes compared to what was being said was very, very basic, so I will not even say on what one should be doing as government. But I think Shri Goyalji sort of in a way mentioned that Gujarat led the way as well. Vibrant Gujarat. It's almost like a brand name nowadays, right? At times you go to another city and say, vibrant state. I will not want to name the state, but so that's the branding which Vibrant Gujarat has done for themselves. But I think this is my second regional conference. I was present in the one 2 months back as well, and I have never, there's no other state which does that, right? The focus which is there at the regional level, it's just unparalleled, and I think, like I said earlier, this is maybe the first of its kind, and maybe some of you missed out, but it was also said the secretary level person would be the champion for a cause, right, for the next 15-20 years. It's phenomenal, because in private sector the only thing at times which we sort of struggle with is the consistency of people. And at times we lose a lot of critical decision making at times, which is lost on that. The second part of this would be the introduction of what we do, because some people might not know, right? So we are not a logistics company. We don't build boxes and lease it out. We are a 20-year-old industrial infrastructure developer. We buy or aggregate a lot of land from farmers or with the PPP model with the government, and then we do master development, and then we invite factories to operate out of this. So while the state gives you the infrastructure and the utilities, right, we give your factories a home. That could be my marketing pitch here maybe. Our most successful one is Mahindra World City Chennai. It's about 1,500 acres. And to answer your question, I think our friend from JAFSA mentioned it, right? When you talk about Dubai, you talk about the individual first and everything else follows. And I think that was the thought process when we designed Mahindra World City Chennai. 1,500 acres. When there was a tsunami in Chennai, right, our industrial park was dry, right? Or when the rain or the floods were there, industrial parks were dry, because the drainage system there was designed to handle an eventuality like that. Our AQI levels are way better than any part of the city of Chennai. The temperature is about 2 to 3 degrees lower. And I made a statement, when I visited. I joined them only about a year back, and I visited for the first time. I told people that this park looks to age beautifully. It's been 20 years. It looks better than what it was looking 20 years back, right? And I think that's the difference. If my numbers are not wrong, there are roughly about 5,000 industrial parks in India, right? How many can proudly say that after 20 years I'm looking better than what I was thought out to be? We stay throughout the life cycle of the park. So we get the land, we do the town planning, we do the entire execution ourselves. We maintain the parks perpetually, because your factory is also a perpetual asset in most cases, right? If you look at the infrastructure which we provide, we have a Mahindra World School in Chennai. We have a hospital there. We have one hotel. We have 2 more coming up. We have a railway station which is managed by us. We have multiple bus station nodes which are there. Because somebody mentioned, ma'am, you mentioned that it can't just be Rasta. Unfortunately, that we don't manage a port, like in the auto port there. But rail transport, we have 2 wheels parking slots which are digitally managed. We have 4-wheel parking slots, obviously, which are digitally managed. We have some 80,000 workforce which work out of those parks. And I can keep giving a lot of numbers. But we have convention centers, we have a clubhouse, we have sports facilities there. So all that is there. The same is now being replicated in Jaipur, where we have 3,000 acres land in Jaipur. 1,500 acres is already developed, and now we're getting into social infrastructure. Both the Chennai and the Jaipur parks, interestingly, are a PPP project. So it's a public-private partnership, which people thought is not possible, but we've done it successfully with the governments. Then we have another park in Chennai where Sumitomo is a partner, so I can go on, but maybe.
No, that's helpful. And that's where it's very useful to hear as we think about these industrial parks and export zones, is how do you marry the urban environment with industrial environment. That becomes very important, because at the end of the day, if you are trying to bring world's best talent, quality people, they will have also their own basic expectations and necessities. And that's where thinking not only about good industrial ecosystem, but also the quality of life elements, which is schools, healthcare, that becomes critical. Now, Vikram, I had a follow-on question. When we did a lot of planning for port-based industrial clusters in India, one of the things we saw was that export zones need a bit of a plus over the industrial park zones. And for example, we just heard Yusuf, and we worked a lot with DP World. One of the success of Jebel Ali Free Zone was based on their ability to align global shipping and logistics companies also with them. So when people were signing up in a zone, they also knew that their product will move very easily to various markets. So DP World enabled access to African markets, DP World, and now they have even brought in this whole concept of Bharat Mart. Now, as we think about this region to be a global hub for exports, beyond the industrial clusters, what are the other export-linked initiatives we'll have to think about, which would be a central element for an export zone?
I think, I'll go back to what I started with. I think there was already a masterclass which happened on that, right? So it cannot be one hero initiative, right? It has to be multitude of so many steps which go into it, right? So when you're talking infrastructure, are you only talking road, or are you talking, all kind of infrastructures? When you're talking utility, are you talking about consistency of power and water supply and the quality of that, right? So that goes into it. And these are things which take decades, to come up with. JAFSA also was an initiative which was planned about 25 years back, if I'm not mistaken. So even for Dubai, right, which is not managing a country the size of our country, right? I will not say life becomes easier, but I think, it's probably relatively, it's a different perspective. So to move a population in the country of our size, which is completely democratic in political system, right? I think to be able to do what, for example, Gujarat has done, a couple of other states also, right? What Gujarat has done is phenomenal. But I was completely taken aback 3 months back when I got to know that, the plans are more regional now, right? Sure. When somebody reached out to us, one of your colleagues, our first reaction was, no, we'll go for state level, this thing. Regional is maybe maybe it's not our agenda as of now. And now we are a frequent sort of a visitor to this. And I think if it's Mahindra's which is so keen, right? I'm sure there are other industry houses also which only see what's happening. And I think yesterday there were some big bang announcements which were made. I just got to know, which only are testament to the amount of work which is happening at the regional level. So I think there's stuff which is happening. I think time will tell.
No, that's wonderful. Look, we are a bit short on time, so we are trying to wrap things fast. I'll just close on this to say, look, the opportunity is immense. Whether you are an infra player or a manufacturing company or an exporter, this is our vision, and we'll all have to collaborate through multiple partnerships in this. With that, I'll close this session. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. As a token of gratitude, may I invite Mr. Binay Sorang to facilitate Mr. Mohammad Atta with a memento. Thank you so much, sir. Again, as a token of gratitude and sparing time and sharing the perspective, I invite Ms. Tejal Parmar to facilitate Mr. Vikram Goel, CBO, Mahindra Lifespace, with a memento. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Now moving on and continuing with our knowledge session, our second speaker is Shri P.G. Jadeja, Chairman and Managing Director, Jyoti CNC Automation Limited. Nothing? Okay. So, as sir is not here currently, we'll continue with the next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Manoj Bhai Chaganbhai Arvadia, President Morbi Ceramics. Is President Morbi Ceramics here? Priyanka ma'am, would you please check? We have, I request Shri Sumit Chakravarti, Associate Vice President, Adani Logistics, onto the stage. Yes, sir, I'll request them. Before that, may I invite Shri Chapaneri, sir, to facilitate, sir, with a memento.
Hello everyone, and a very good afternoon. So I hope all awake, and then we are good to go with the session. Now, a lot has been spoken since morning, and I've been observing, and what's really very interesting to see is that our policy makers, honorable ministers, they are as far-sighted as the visionaries, yet they happen to know the ground in terms of how to mobilize things to the last piece, and that is great for us. That's great for us as a country, as a nation, both at a regional level, at a cluster level. Now I'll very briefly lead you into something, and which is specifically pertinent to EXIM trade, exports and shipping and logistics. Now when we talk in terms of हमारा लाइफस्टाइल का अर्निंग बढ़ाना है या पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ाना है या जीडीपी बढ़ाना है, उसके दो तरीके हैं. एक, हम खुद प्रोड्यूस करें, डोमेस्टिकली बनाएं, कंज्यूम करें. And the second thing is, which has again been articulated again and again, that I start looking at global markets. We start positioning the country globally, and that is where it becomes very, very important for us to look at the EXIM trade. ये एक terminology हम use करते हैं, which is EXIM is basically for exports and imports. Now, how do I navigate, ma'am, through this? Green. So before even moving there, I just want to give you a small bit of learning in terms of how is the shipping industry today looking like. क्योंकि यदि मुझे एक्सपोर्ट करना है तो मेरे लिए नॉलेज रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि मैं किस एनवायरनमेंट में कर रहा हूँ, मेरा रिस्क फैक्टर क्या है, मुझे कितना रिस्क लेना है, मिटिगेट क्या करना है. एंड देन आई एम नॉट गोना स्पेंड टू लॉन्ग ऑन दिस प्रेजेंटेशंस. आई विल शेयर द कॉपी. बट by far what's happening is we've got the geopolitical tension. Russia-Ukraine does not end yet. Then something happens on Venezuela. We do not know whether something will happen on Taiwan or not. Greenland suddenly is on the radar and becomes lot more famous. Now I'm not going to name who are the people who are attempting to do it. That is for you to guess. Okay? But yes, what it means is that the geopolitical scenarios changing, जो बदल रहा है, that has we have to be very, very cautious while dealing with our exports and imports. So please, whether you are a manufacturer, whether you are a tile exporter, fisheries, whatever commodities, machinery, high-end textiles, be very, very cognizant, be aware कि मेरा risk factor क्या है, am I financially protected, कल ऐसा ना हो कुछ कि we'll end up in a problem. That's one. Now the second thing on the shipping cycle is, coupled with this geopolitical tension, जिसने भी जो भी exports करते हैं यहाँ पे या जो भी करने की इच्छा रखते हैं, there's a crisis that has been brewing on the Suez Canal. Suez Canal क्या करता था? That would typically cut our transit time, say typically from Mundra, Nhava into the western world. अभी because of the Suez Canal crisis or the Red Sea crisis जो हम कहते हैं, there are we have to go through the entire Africa route. I don't have the maps over here, but if someone wants to know, I can show you. So that is also creating a lot of disruption. The third thing that's obviously happening, like any other industry and even in the shipping industry, is the overcapacity, cyber security problems that are emerging, and of course last but not the least, the sustainability dimension. Now typically when we look at ships and shipping, they operate on a fuel which is very high in sulfur, and then there are these IMO restrictions which are forcing them to invest lot of money. अब उन्हें पैसा इन्वेस्ट करना है 1.4 trillion plus, तो वो कहाँ से करेंगे? कहीं ना कहीं हमसे ही रिकवर करेंगे. So just to be aware about how the global scenario is operating. Now in terms of Saurashtra, the beauty of Gujarat is that our coastline is immense, and any place ever since in history, even if you go and read, whoever has a great coastline is a success to their maritime. You can build multiple products. You've got Mundra, which is state of the art. Now I'm not going into too many details about how the terminal has been growing, what is our capacity, how are we increasing the berths, etc. But when you look at a Mundra, you look at a Kandla, you look at Pipavav, Porbandar, Bhavnagar. Now all these terminals, ये जो ports हैं हमारे, ये हमारा ecosystem बन चुका है, and our growth engine basically will come from this part only. Now, of course, now not all these containers. यहाँ पे किसी को पता है how many types of ports are there? I'm sure a lot of you will know, right? So there are bulk ports, there are container ports, and typically ports mature from one stage to the other. So that journey will remain the way it is. Commodities exported, commodities imported. We all know. I mean, it's basically today it's basically textile furnishing, fisheries, aqua, and the textiles and cotton, which are primary commodities, and then slowly we keep scaling up, and that's how the region will continue to grow, because once we move from the basic commodities to the high end commodities, because that's where you will get your value additions coming through. And I think we are in the right track. So we are on the right track. The infrastructure is there, the port is there, the basic awareness about EXIM trade is there. It's now only shifting the gears and moving ahead. Now this is something important, and this is where I want to spend a bit of some time. As exporters, as importers, and I'm going to talk about exports and imports because I'm assuming जो आपका local development है वो आप locally कर रहे हो. We have to be very, very aware about the Amrit Kal vision. We have to be aware about the national logistics policy, about the Gati Shakti master plan. Now, in plans के तहत क्या हो रहा है कि there are so many advantages. There are so many advantages that you can go and pick up. Okay, everything is available on the digital platform. There is simplification of tariffs. There are export advantages. You have payment redressal mechanisms. There is technology that you can get in. There are multiple. There are multiple ways to leverage on it. So tomorrow, once we have our plant and machinery ready, the production ready, then we start looking at exports or imports. You know, we cannot do something without knowing. All that I am stating is there is there are a lot of government initiatives, facts, bodies, national logistics policy, so on and so forth. Do make use of it. Do refer to it. Do refer to it in detail. Typically the way forward, the way we move is we continue to decongest the CFSs, we continue to decongest the ports. Now there are two ways to do it. One, you keep building, and the other is you start increasing efficiency. One of the way to increase efficiency excuse me, and an appeal that I want to make to everyone is that हमारा जो road to rail ratio है, that is very, very distorted. We are at about 66% versus 31-32% on rail, road versus rail. And the basic mistake that we do as industrialists, as manufacturers is and the basic mistake that we do is that we try to choose one mode over the other. Our only submission is that when you want to leverage on a world-class system, look at combinations, and that's what we also continually try to do. Now, as much as I am an infra service provider for the region, we are also an exporter and an importer. I mean, as Adani Renewables, etc. So we do understand how the mix and play is happening. Do look at fast tracking your export processes. Do look at advancing your planning a bit. Do look beyond the conventional methodology of being only on one mode ki मुझे तो ऐसे ही चलना है, because mind you, I'm not against the trucking union or anything, but what we have to build, try and understand, is something which is very, very sustainable. So if your rail can get the cargo from the port to your near facility, and from there your truck can move, your entire movement becomes efficient, the ports becomes decongested, you don't have shutouts and so on expenses, and that's how we move ahead. Last, this is something very, very elementary, and this is more from the EXIM trade perspective. You need to optimize, you need to imbibe technology, you need to look at different markets. Now what's also happening in India's context is we were very, very dependent on one country. We were expecting the trade deal to happen anytime. And that can actually happen anytime, because while I was sitting in the room, then again I started reading some different narratives. But what it has made us do as a nation is, कि हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड के साथ साइन कर लिया, वी वेंट अहेड विथ यूके, वी गॉन अहेड विथ द मिडल ईस्ट नेशंस. So say 20 years back, when someone started exports or imports, we started looking for each and every buyer all over the world. Okay, it's a bit of a time for us to go back to our say drawing room or classroom and try to see again and again, how can I take advantage of, I as an end exporter can take advantage of these policies and move ahead. Well, that's also, if there are any questions, for the sake of paucity of time, I've tried to run a little fast. But if you need to know anything, do let me know. The note on which I want to conclude is, we are a community, we are a region, we are trying to build ourselves. Do not compete internally amongst yourselves. Okay, I've been spending extensive time around multiple clusters, even in this region, and the irony is कि जीजा और साले में इतनी लड़ाई है, वो बोलता है उसको उससे ज़्यादा ले लो, मेरे से कम ले लो. Now don't get into that, because the moment we combine ourselves, the moment we start looking at networked approach, maybe we will be able to tap markets in a more matured way. Do not stay fragmented. There's a whole lot of opportunity and avenues that's happening at the government level, at the policy level. Take use of it, ride on the wave, and I'm sure we will continue to grow. I think, Aparna ma'am, the only doubt that I have in my mind since today morning's discussions is whether we will take 2047 to reach to the milestone, or we will do it much earlier. And I'm sure the gentleman from JAVSA was very, very enthusiastic about what they have done. It's a great case study, but very soon we will be able to display it. Best wishes to all. Thank you. If there are questions, let me know. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker is Shri P.G. Jadeja, Chairman and Managing Director, Jyoti CNC Automation Limited. May I request Shri Vinod, sir, Accounts Officer, to honor sir with a memento. Please give sir a huge round of applause. Welcome, sir.
Loaded, otherwise I'm okay. I'm fine. Namaste. Good afternoon to everyone. I sincerely thank the government of Gujarat, CII, GREET and GIDB for organizing this important knowledge session of the multi-sector manufacturing and export zone for the Saurashtra region. And the discussion is extremely relevant. not only for Saurashtra, but also for Gujarat long term. Industrial and export vision. I would like to share my thoughts on opportunities for engineering sector exports from Saurashtra. I will speak not from the perspective of any individual company, but from the perspective of the regional ecosystem, its strengths, its readiness, and its future potential. So recently the previous speaker has opened up one good point for me that to connect very nicely there. That today in a world we are absolutely on a geopolitical VUCA world. Okay, and right now what is going to be happen tomorrow or today morning in any tweet or any X, something is coming new. Okay, I think this is all words are in a fear factor today. Okay, all words are in fear factor. This is the greatest time. This is one of the greatest time to us to utilize this opportunity. See, wherever the uncertainties are there, okay, there is a restructures are going to be happen. The old world, all trading, all supply chain is under the restructuring today. Americans, they are wanted to replace China. European also have a fear. Japanese also seeing something differently. Taiwanese also. Every country right now, the all world economy is on a restructure mode. And the principle of let's say in a vibration, right now everything is moving, and if we are stable and able to see that what is the moving, and we can able to see only the center point, the greatest opportunity for all of us over here today. Hope I can able to given you this classic example of a vibration over there. So there is a great opportunity for the exports, because this trade people are looking, the all world are looking to be a restructuring them. People have seen that Mexico is completely a supply chain of a China. Even now the people have understood that the Germany exports to a US is largely a Chinese company. So Germany is also under threats. Okay, because China is indirectly is reach out to everywhere, and that's how this opportunity is open for us. Okay, so right now we are in India is an inflection point in the exports journey, moving decisively from volume-led exports to value-driven manufacturing. Okay, Rajkot thi Saurashtra mathi cotton we have exported a lot. This is all are a volume driven. Okay. Now we need to think about the value driven. Engineering exports stands out because they are quality led, capability intensive, and long term in nature. Unlike commodities, engineering exports are built on trust, consistency, relationship, and often spanning decades there. In engineering, while you develop the suppliers, initially it is going to be very difficult. Your all standards, global standards, you have to expect and everything. But once you start to supplying to these all upward countries, okay, you have a repeated orders will come. When repeat orders will come, even the specification also is going to be uplift there. Once the specification is going to uplift, your technology integration also has been uplift there, and then your skill also been the dip on there, because if you don't skill up there, you will not able to approach. So this is the one of the basic fundamental things are like. These exports generate repeat orders, deeper supply chain integrations, and stable revenue visibility. And Saurashtra is having in the last 20-30 years I have seen, once the people commit, they deliver. All the export guys, they have created this brand. Once these guys are committing, it is going to be delivered. They will deliver consistently, repeatedly, and with the same quality. Okay, and that's the greatest advantage over here there. And with that, brand is going to help us, all of us there, to exports from here there. Saurashtra already has an industrial depth and manufacturing culture needed to scale globally. We have a business culture. I was just looking at what I could speak about our Saurashtra in last 2 days, and I find out 2-3 a small topic that we have a culture in our DNA, the business culture in our DNA. What is that? हम कहीं पे भी मिलते हैं, कोई प्रसंग में મળીએ, इवन वरराजाने કોઈને ગ્રીટ કરવા ગયા હોય, ઓકે, તો એના પેરેન્ટ્સને આપણે એમ પૂછીએ કે ધંધો કેમ ચાલે છે, ટાઈમ કેવો છે. વી ડોન્ટ સ્પીક અબાઉટ ધ વેધર, વોટ ઇઝ ટુડે વેધર. આજે આપણામાંથી કોઈએ છે ને કોઈએ પૂછ્યું નહીં હોય કે આજે રાજકોટમાં શું વેધર છે. ઇફ યુ ગો ટુ યુરોપ, they will talk about the weather only. Okay, this is what is going to be happening in the next 1 hour there. Here we talk only a business. We breathe business, we eat business, we live. So that's the one of the greatest strength. We need to let's understand this is one of the culture. But let's say we see some number. Engineering exports make approximately 25 to 28% of India's exports, and the western region led by Gujarat contribute around 38% of the segment. Engineering exports are an ecosystem-led growth opportunity capable of strengthening the regional manufacturing and national competitiveness. Why engineering exports matter for regional growth? Okay. Engineering exports do not create a short-term gains. It's not going to कॉटन में क्या हुआ कि आज का सीजन का आ गया, बारिश हो गया, एक्सपोर्ट हो गया, बात फिनिश्ड. नहीं हुआ, ठीक है, इंश्योरेंस है, गवर्नमेंट विल टेक केयर. Okay. They transform regions over a time. Okay. Once a supplier is qualified globally, relationship are long lasting and repeat driven. I already given you. Economic impact extend well beyond factories. This engineering today in the entire country we are missing. We are talking about the skill. But skill implementation के लिए आपको practice match के लिए ground भी चाहिए. So these grounds are going to be useful for all of us there. Okay. So skilled employment, technology absorption ऐसे मिलेगा कि जैसे जैसे हम लोग exports करते जाएंगे, we are going to have a lot of opportunity to absorb this. And a stable MSME ecosystem. For regional like Saurashtra, growth does not require reinvention. It comes from the upgrading and the globalizing existing strength. There are so many small companies. I have seen the numbers are close to 2.5 lakh MSMEs are there. They are all a verge of a blast. Blast means let's say I can correlate like that, ma'am. We have seen in a COVID time, when I joined my office after all COVID area, one of my customers says that your people are not able to reach us on time. My salesmen are not able to reach on time to customers. And Rajkot is a small area for me that, and I was having 6 sales guys. And why these customers are okay. So why these customers are calling like this? Then immediately I ask my sales guy. This is Rajkot is grown up such a way that 6 guys are not able to reach out. So next day say I started to understand my area. I took more than 1 week time to understand my town, where I born and brought up. And I come to know that there are 5,000 CNC users. Those are my potential customers, are based at Rajkot. And we made this 6 sales guys to 30 people in 1 quarter. So the way this all the company, those are buying today 1 machine, 2 machines are increasing such a way that So it's a massive expansion we are seeing over here globally there. Only thing we need to, one only missing things are there is a scale. Still we need to think big. We need to, now we have all connect with this, our Vibrant Gujarat is connected with the Vision 2047 and everything. So with that, we have to, 20 years perspective plan, everybody has to make it, and we have to connect globally, scale up, and to, I have many things to be say, but we have a time constraint. We are running by almost 1 hour late. I can talk on anything next time that. Thank you very much to all of you there.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite Ms. Tejal Parmar, team lead, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
On behalf of Gujarat Rajya Institution for Transformation, GRIT, General Administration Division, Department Planning Division, and Gujarat Industrial Development Board GITB, I extend our deepest gratitude to our chief guest, Shri Piyush Goyal sir, Honorable Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, for gracing this seminar and for his inspiring and visionary address. We sincerely thank Shri Ajay Bhadu sir, Additional Secretary, Department of Commerce, Government of India, for his insightful keynote address. We also thank Shri VP Vaishnav sir, President, Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for presenting the industry's perspective and reinforcing the voices of regional enterprises. Our sincere appreciation to all the panelists and speakers, Mr. Vikram Goyal sir, Yusuf sir, Stuti Charan ma'am, Mohammad Athar sir, Ankur Shah sir, PG Jadeja sir, Manoj Kumar sir, and Sumit Chaudhary sir, for sharing their experience and insights and the best practices of the ground reality. We also thank all the senior officers, industry representative, development partners, and participants for their active engagement and valuable contribution. With this, we formally conclude the inaugural and technical session for this seminar. Thank you all for your participation and continued support. Thank you.